Hello and welcome back to We Want Picks.
Can we
Jakey
change the
boy.
intro to like, my name's Angelo and I'm here with, because a lot of times you just right past me.
I say Jakey and I are going to break down the entire.
I'd like a full, like, I'm here with Jacob, and then I'm like,
break down the entire UFC Vegas 74 fight card, giving you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our fantasy plays after a week off. Tons of changes on this card. I broke it down 2 weeks ago. We have 3 completely different fights. You broke it down yesterday. Already a new fight since then. So this breakdown is the latest, the greatest that anybody will see. But before we talk about this week, let's talk about the last event. Jacob and I absolutely crushed UFC Vegas 73. We're on quite the run. I actually hated that week off because the run we were on, it was like 6 events in a row or something stupid like that of just absolute dominating success. I was up units. Jacob was up units. The lock of the week, 6th in a row. Prize Picks hit. The safety parlay hit. And that safety parlay is up almost 10 units this year. Just this year. Here's the chart of every single safety parlay.
Unreal.
In 2023.
It's almost as good as the lock of the week.
3, 4, 5, 6. It's better. It's on a 7 streak. Yours is a 6 streak.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 7 streak.
7 picking some favorites,
yeah.
huh? That's hats off. Take your hat off of that one, huh?
We'll leave it on. Jakey, you and I are the only geniuses hanging around this community. This graphic is old. We are up to $175,000 in winnings over the last 3
And Mitch
events.
is a goddamn movie star.
From the community. Well, you know, we are doing well.
Well, that is true. That is true.
If you go to only premium members can see it, but this is just money from premium members, $175,000 in winnings that we were tagged in. We have an entire channel dedicated to winning tickets for premium members, and it has absolutely been slaying. Massive. Dude.
Jesus Christ. How was that cruise? Huh? Was that some shrimp? Is that some shrimp trying to make its way back up there? Put me back in the ocean. How many can there be in here? There's not enough room.
It's just swimming in the drink package whiskey. Anyway, the community has been killing it. We have been killing it. So there's no other reason than that you could possibly need to sign up to become a premium member. And if anything, I'll give you $50. You don't even have to be a premium member. You could just be anybody off the street that goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use our link to sign up with any one of our betting partners, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. I normally pay out thousands of dollars a week, but we've backed up a little bit because of this damn cruise, but I will catch up in the next couple of days. But WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use the link. That's the most important part. If you don't use the damn link, then we don't get the affiliate money. And if we don't get the affiliate money, you don't get the money because that's all that happens. They pay us. We break off a piece and then pay you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. I will send you $50. You can then take that money, Jacob. What would you do with that money?
Well, I know what you would do.
Apparently,
apparently, guys, Angelo was on a cruise. I don't know how many times he's got to bring it up. Like, this is like some big deal.
You brought it up.
Like, cruise. Oh, and then the cruise. I don't know if you want to tell people about it. It seemed like you want to talk about it. How was it? How were things? You're not as tan as I thought you would be.
I would take the money. The lights are white, but I am quite bronzed. I would take the money and I would become a premium member and I would unlock all the tools, Jacob. That's 5 months of premium membership money. And the line movement tracker is one of those tools. Jamie Mullarkey opened at minus 590 with his new opponent. We have 4 different fights on this card where the underdog flipped to a favorite. Lots of crazy movement. As soon as, what's his name dropped, Garam dropped, the lines went nuts because everybody was desperate to find new bets and to find new lines.
Cowboys' butts drive you nuts.
What does that have to do with anything?
I think you said the line was nuts or something. You said something about that. So, I mean, that's an easy transition to make.
You're also going to get 38, we added 10, 38 columns of detailed data, metrics, and analytics to help you find your spots. Of course, you're going to get our picks, our bets. You're going to get our line leans. You're going to get the fantasy plays, the DraftKings optimizer, the ownership projections. But you're also going to get tools like the metrics, the analytics, the line movement tracker. All of it is only $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. Just click. become a member for fuck's sake.
Please.
Before
I'm trying
we
to
break down this card, go ahead. You're trying to get on a cruise? I want on a cruise. Did I tell you?
No, can you please just tell us all about it? But I mean, the goal for premium here, if you guys did not know, is to get me to Brazil. I mean, we'll be straight up transparent and honest. I'm looking to move to Brazil to find me a nice Brazilian woman, and that's where all your premium money goes. So if you're not a premium member, please, for the love of God, I got to get out of here.
We'll get this boy his butt implants or whatever he does in those cheap overseas surgeries. We have $10. I missed one. I'll go back to it. $10 from Patrick, the best duo there is. Thank you guys and the entire team that makes this amazing thing happen. Become a premium member. Thank you, Patrick. $10 well spent. We genuinely appreciate it.
2 million views. I don't think we talked about it on the stream yet.
We hit 2 million, and that's 2 million after we cleaned up a bunch of stuff. So 2 million views.
It's more than that.
Very, very appreciated. And
took out the trash.
Good job for Patrick shouting out the team, because there is a team. It's not just Jakey and I. We got some people behind the scenes doing God's work. Thank you very much, Patrick. And we had a $20 super chat from Quinn.
Oh, my God. Happy birthday, Quinn.
Happy birthday, Quinn. We want picks back for an entire summer. Are there no more breaks coming up? Back
9
for an
straight weeks.
Oof. Back for an entire summer of UFC. Perfect time for everybody to become a member and have fun with us all. And then finally, a 5 whatever currency spot from Phantom. Welcome back, Angelo. Good card coming up. Pick your spots wisely. CHF. What the hell is CHF? Francs.
I don't know why he says welcome back, Angelo.
I've been gone, baby. I've been in the middle of the ocean eating shrimps.
Did you swim
anyway?
at all?
Yeah, like a motherfucker. I'm a dolphin.
I just, for some reason...
Dude, I honestly swim.
For some reason, I don't think you can swim. There's something about you. I think you could survive, but as far as like actually stroking it out, I don't think you got the stroke, man.
I swim like a dolphin. I was climbing shit, jumping off shit, diving, dropping, all the things.
You better short strokes or long strokes?
Dude, look at these arms. Look at that.
Long stroker. I respect that. I respect that.
You come over, you're in my pool for the first time, and I'm just doggy battling.
No, that joke went over your head. Over your head.
I don't partake in your dirty penis jokes, Jakey boy. Let's go ahead and break down
Let's break down this card. Jesus.
Opening up UFC Vegas 74, we have Philipe Lins taking on Maxim Grishin. This was booked all the way back in October. It has been rebooked. Maxim hasn't fought since then. But Philipe has. Philipe is now 16-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout win over Ovince St. Preux. He's taking on Maxim Grishin, 32-9 overall, 2-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision win over William Knight. Before you discredit that win, that was William Knight before he was afraid to fight. Like, that William Knight came out swinging. And it was impressive because Maxim Grishin withstood the early onslaught, and it was a vicious onslaught from William Knight in that fight. Maxim took that, came back, coming forward and grinding that out. He is a striker. He throws in combinations. He loves sitting on a big right hand. He does do an amazing job of sort of waiting and then rushing forward if he sees an opening. And as soon as he sees you're out of rhythm or off balance, he will attack. So he's pretty calculated. And if he sees anything that resembles you being out of sorts, he will attack and try to make something happen. And again, he's coming off that win over William Knight. Don't think William Knight from his last fight. This is William Knight, like when that dude was swinging wild to take people's heads off. He's taking on Philipe Lins. Philipe Lins, former heavyweight. He's worked his way down to light heavyweight. He has legit power in his hands. He seems to have carried that power with him.
Great hair.
He's got a phenomenal hair. He's got a BJJ black belt, but he does prefer to sort of hang out in the pocket and trade or bang away. He's coming off that knockout win over Ovince St. Preux at light heavyweight. And this is going to sound crazy, but it didn't look good. He looked like slow. He looked old. He didn't look like a killer in that fight. I know it sounds stupid. I started this with
it sounds stupid, Angelo, because it is stupid.
I watched it
where there's
back
smoke,
and
there's fire. Usually, if it quacks like a duck, fuck a duck.
He just didn't listen. I know he knocked out Ovince St. Preux, but he didn't look like, wow, this guy's at light heavyweight and he's here to stay. So anyway, This is a stupid tough fight. Super close fight. I do think Maxim Grishin's going to win this fight. I said that 2 weeks ago. I still feel that way. Philipe is going to absolutely be the better grappler, but he's going to be hittable. And I think Maxim Grishin is going to be the better, more calculated striker. He'll rush in, he'll wait, find his spots, light him up, and then back out, and then make it happen. Maxim has been taken down 7 times in 4 fights. So that's the one concern for me. So I do think Maxim's going to win. I'm not betting this fight. There's a ton of fights I'm not betting here. But, yeah, that's my breakdown. What do you think, Jacob? I don't know why I said it like that.
Yeah, I don't really love that attitude. I'd like.
I really don't know why I did that.
A quick apology or something.
Yeah.
If I could just.
I said sorry. I don't know why I did that.
Okay. Yeah. Don't do it again either. So, yeah, I can. I mean, this is a close fight, and there's a lot of. I think you've talked about it privately. I don't know if you mentioned your quick pick video or this video or whatever, but this is a tough card. I mean, there are some interesting matchups on this card. There's some lines that flip for good reason and for bad reasons, and this is a tough card to bet. And this is one of those fights where it's like. I mean, I'm picking Philipe Lins because I believe he has the volume and the activity to win this fight. I think it's going to be a decision fight. There could be a finish either side, but both these guys can kind of slow down as the fight goes on, and not real big punchers, not real big finishers in that, right? So I think it's going to be a decision fight, and in a decision fight, I can trust Philipe Lins to have the volume, to have the pressure. It might not work. He might get knocked out. Machine Grishin is a huge dude that can land with power. If he lands with power, he's going to knock you out. But if it goes to a decision, I can trust Philipe Lins to have that volume where I think Maxim Grishin at times fights like a heavyweight. I mean, he fights like a kind of a slow, methodical heavyweight where Philipe Lins, I think, has looked pretty good at 205. I think if he is going to mix in wrestling, I don't think it's going to work. He's not the best. He doesn't have the best takedowns, and Grishin is like a huge dude at 205 and knows how to wrestle himself. So I think Philipe Lins should just come in, work the volume, and get a decision win. But you know, it's a close fight for a reason, and it's getting even closer. But I'm taking the slight dog here, and Mr. Philipe. Philipe, you know, us Brazilians got to stick together.
Yeah, us. He's pretty hittable though, and I think that's going to be the difference here. He does get touched up. He doesn't really move his head very much.
Especially when he blitzes in. He loves that. He started at 205. He loves just kind of blitz in. Yeah, and it's that is a pause for the cause.
Well, especially because he looked a little slow and old against Ovince St. Preux.
Well, I disagree with that. I mean, he just steamrolled that dude. I don't know how you can look old in a knockout like that.
Shit happens all the time.
You think I'm going to look old when I knock your ass out?
Okay. Next Sunday, when you're coming over for the pool party / UFC 289.
Sunday?
Let's fight. Yeah, next Saturday. Sorry. This Sunday's my birthday.
Well, Saturdays I stream, so...
No, we talked about this. You will be at my pseudo birthday party next Sunday, and it's a pool party, so bring a bathing suit.
So Sunday. You are saying it's Sunday.
I don't know why I'm saying Sunday. It's Saturday because the 10th. I don't know why I keep saying Sunday. Other than this Sunday's my birthday, and I was kind of hoping that.
The best birthday present I can give you is more exposure for this channel because God knows we need it. More than ever.
I'm in the Connor documentary, so I think we got plenty.
Now more than ever.
$7,400 in DraftKings, $8,800 in DraftKings. You gonna throw Philipe in there? He probably has a good run at $7,400.
I think in multi-entry, he's a candidate. Single entry, there's probably better options, honestly.
Yeah, it's a tricky card all the way around, but there's a lot of spots that I like in DraftKings more than I do as far as bets and stuff like that are concerned. So we'll take a look at that. And if you want to check out our full DraftKings breakdown with our ownership projections, our full slate breakdowns, and an optimizer that literally builds lineups for you, just go to WeWantPicks.com and click Become a Member. It's $10 a month. I mean, at this point, it's
fucking $10 a month. Christ, man.
I mean, honestly.
Holy shit.
I made it that price point so that it doesn't have to, like...
Do me a favor. If you don't have fucking $10, unfollow me on Twitter. I don't want to talk to you.
You're going to lose. There's a lot of poor people. You're going to lose a lot.
Someone just went, shit, pulls out their phone. Like, damn.
God damn it.
I need to get to Brazil.
This stream is free on YouTube, but they're still somehow pirating it. Well, there goes that $10. That was a good joke. Go fuck yourself. We got $10 from Patrick again, and this is for Jacob's Brazil fund. Oh, Jacob has a whiteboard. What are you drawing?
Sweet.
Are you keep a tally of dad jokes?
No.
We can't see what you're drawing there.
Get me to Brazil.
Absolute dork. This fucking dork is.
$10.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. Things are getting weird and taking forever. Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Damon Blackshear taking on Luan Lacerda. Damon Blackshear?
I think it's probably Damon.
It's probably Damon. Damon, I mean, there isn't possible.
It's Damon. Come on. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you shit. I have no idea.
I actually think it is Damon, but I've been saying Damon. Whatever. And it's funny because I watch all the tape, but I just like just to like
don't listen to Bisping.
Yeah,
don't listen
to fight. Anyway, Blackshear, 12-5 overall, 3-1-1 in his last 5, and he is looking for his first UFC win. He's taking on Luan Lacerda, 12-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off the decision loss to Cody Stamann, but that wasn't his UFC debut. This is another tricky fight to break down. This is one of the many fights on this card where the favorite flipped to an underdog. Just a slight favorite opening at -115, but Blackshear is now a +128 dog. And what's funny, I broke all of these fights down 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
I had very different lines than
your
today.
Work ethic is...
I mean, you said that sarcastically, but
no, I was very open and honest in that 2 million view video, and I hope you
literally
that.
Nobody puts in the no. You're the most entertaining person in this space. I am the hardest working person in this space, and Josh is actually
the smartest,
Josh,
probably. Honestly,
he probably works harder than I do. So maybe Josh is the hardest working person in this space. Definitely works harder than you. Anyway. Luan Lacerda is a very slick grappler. He can strike as well, but he comes forward. He's got reckless abandon, throwing punches, kicks, no real rhyme or reason, but he does have a ton of power, and then he's going to try to work in some trips, work in some single legs, get you to the ground. Once he's on the ground, this dude is an absolute savage. He's very creative. He is always looking for a submission. He's a threat pretty much everywhere, but he is reckless, and he can lose positions because he's chasing things. Now, all of a sudden, he's on his back where he was in a more dominant position. He's taking on Damon Blackshear. Damon Blackshear has had a sort of a rough go in the UFC, but he is an athletic striker. He's got impressive speed, impressive power. He can grapple as well, and we saw that in 2 different fights. Go back to a CFFC title win, and in his last fight with Farid Basharat, not Javid, Farid, the younger brother. That was a good fight. He looked really good. Yes, he lost, but he showed us how tough he is. He listened to his coaches. If you watch that breakdown, you listen to the corner commentary and all of that. They said, you need to come forward. You need to be busy because you're down in this fight. The dude went out there and did exactly that.
You know what he did in the 3rd round?
What'd he do?
He was I don't know if he was hurting him, but he was lighting him up with his hands and then shot a takedown, and the whole commentary team was destroying him for how low IQ that move was. So you're saying he listened to it? He's smart.
His coaches, they said, go out there and pour it on him, and that's what he did. And I appreciate it.
He was like lighting him up with the hands, and he just shot a nonsense takedown, didn't get it, then got reversed, and then got thrown on his back.
So he did listen to his coaches, come out more aggressive, and he is a good striker, was touching the guy up. Got it. What is shaking behind you?
Huh?
Oh, I guess it's your chin. This is like a wiggling, like here next to your head.
Oh my God, are you on shrooms?
I wish I was. Get through this a little faster. I think Damon's going to win this fight. I think he's better than his winless UFC record. He's had a couple of really tough matchups. Farid is a killer. And I can
Salal is a killer.
I just said Farid. But I think he's had a couple of tough matchups, and he could defend these takedowns. Luan Lacerda is not the wrestler that Farid was, and he did really well there. Lacerda is dumb dangerous, like ridiculously dangerous on his feet and on the ground, which is probably why he's the favorite. The line is widening. I got Blackshear a $20 bet. A unit for me is $100. I put 20 on him at +111. You're going to get better odds than that now, but a lot of these odds that you're seeing, a lot of the favorites that you're going to see today and going forward are larger favorites than they were just a few days ago, because the minute that Garam dropped, everybody took that money and was just hunting. Well, I got to put this somewhere. I got to put this somewhere. So lines just took off again out of nowhere. And Luan didn't take off, but this had a little bit of a bump yesterday as well. Jakey boy, tell me why Damon's going to win this fight.
$100? We'll just do straight up?
No, he's a plus 130 underdog. We're not doing straight up.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so I obviously have Lacerda in this fight. I believe in the striking. He's a better striker. He's a more powerful striker. He definitely struggled against Cody.
You think he's a better striker?
Absolutely. He's got that Muay Thai striking. He's a better striker. He struggled against Cody with Cody's elusive style, right? So he couldn't really find it. He's trying to plot forward. He's trying to corner Cody. But the way Cody fights is in, out. It's hard to really follow that guy. Where Blackshear will be a little bit more in your face. Blackshear is a guy that can strike, but he wants to grapple. He wants to be on top of people. He wants to get the back of people, and he wants to finish his fights on the ground. Against this guy, he's not the better grappler. I mean, he is not the better. Do you see the tattoo on this guy's shoulder? It's a black belt. It says black belt is in my blood. You think Blackshear is going to come in and out-grapple this dude? There is no chance
I don't think he's an out-grapple.
Blackshear is a grappler that can get out-grappled. He is aggressive. He can get swept. Lacerda is next level on the ground, and I believe he is the better striker as well. Definitely has more power. Can light him up with the kicks. A lot of heavy Muay Thai kicks. And I think Blackshear's in a big trouble in this fight. I think he's outclassed pretty much everywhere, honestly. So...
we're definitely split here. I think Blackshear is going to be the better striker. I think he's going to be faster, more accurate. He is less volume for sure, but he's more calculated.
The combinations that Lacerda, once he found his range on Cody, and Cody kind of slowed down because some of the kicks, and obviously you slow down the fight. Some of the combinations he was landing were very, very clean. Very clean late in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's definitely a close fight. I grabbed Blackshear because he impressed me in his loss. I watched that loss. I was like, this dude doesn't stop.
I was actually there. So you went on a cruise. I was at UFC 285. Missed this fight a little bit. Actually missed the whole thing because, you got to get penthouse. It's a long elevator ride. It's a long elevator ride. Holy shit. Bet.
But he, it was similar to Brian Battle a few weeks ago, right? He's coming off a really bad loss, but it was very impressive in that loss. And Blackshear was similar. He kept coming. He made some mistakes. He's young, but Lacerda makes a ton of mistakes. He's making mistakes because he's chasing finishes, but he makes a lot of mistakes. He's very hittable. He gives up positions, but he is dumb dangerous. So anyway, I threw $20 on Damon at plus money. I'm not going to throw 120 on him. No. Don't worry. I think you and I disagree on
I thought you did well at the casino. I thought you sent a picture of a handful of chips. For some reason, that hand had fingernails, painted fingernails.
I ended up losing them all, by the way. So
that sounds like half this chat.
What?
Just losing money like crazy. All these geniuses.
Oh! I thought you meant we lost the chat.
No.
Anyway, I am going to spend the $7,500 on Blackshear in DraftKings, or at least seriously consider it.
Are we on the second fight?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. And because I
literally thought that we were 10 in at this point. I looked at the clock and it said 23 minutes. Like, oh my god. Let's go.
I like Blackshear $7,500. I'm assuming you love Lacerda at the 87. You think he wins by finish?
I think there's a good chance. I respect Blackshear's toughness. I believe he is a very, very well-rounded fighter, very good on the ground. I just think Lacerda's better everywhere. But yeah, I respect his toughness, so I think Lacerda can just land enough and out-grapple him enough to win a fight. So I don't necessarily see a finish.
There's only one fight on this card that has a 1.5 round line.
Yeah,
and it's
there's going to be a lot of decisions probably.
Yeah, well, and none of the unders are favorites, meaning it's all 2.5 round lines. And it's all minus money for the over. It's crazy. So, I mean, there's definitely going to be some finishes. And this could be one of those fights, but I'm not going to touch it. If you want to see the bets that we do have, we got a good amount of units going. I got a couple of parlays. You got a couple. Did you have any parlays? I don't think you have any parlays yet, but we had a couple of things going. Check it all out at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. And yeah, you're pretty bad at those. And unlock everything that we do for only $10 a month.
I finally DM'd Tabatha Ricci. So that was on Friday.
How'd that go?
Not super negative, because she just posted a screenshot of somebody else's DM, and listen to what they said. They just said, and she didn't say who it was. It says, Tabatha, I have a question. What's your favorite side dish? That's what they fucking asked her. What a fucking loser.
What did you say?
Oh my God. It wasn't mine, no. I said, penguins used to be 6 feet tall. And she hasn't, no response, so I don't know.
Definitely the asshole. Definitely the asshole, the side dish guy.
So I don't know if that went through. It says sent 9/24 Friday. She probably just hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, probably. Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Elise Reed taking on Jinh Frey. Elise Reed 6-3 overall, 2-3 in her last 5. She is alternating wins and losses. She's taking on the veteran Jinh Frey, 11-8 overall, 2-3 in her last 5. She's coming off that very bad knockout loss to Polyana Viana. Yet another fight, full flip. Underdog to favorite, favorite to underdog. Elise Reed opened at a plus 125 underdog. She is now a minus 120 favorite. And I get it, but this should be a closer fight than that, right? I don't think anybody should be a minus 120 favorite in this fight. We have Elise Reed. She's a very active fighter. She never slows down. She's got good power for this weight class. She's got pretty solid grappling, decent cardio as well. But she is hot and cold in her performances. She had that really nice upset over Corey McKenna. She just showcased all of her skills there. And then Sam Hughes just beat the absolute brakes off of her. And then she came back and beat Melissa Martinez, where she had a knockdown and 3 takedowns. So Elise Reed's a little inconsistent in her fights, but she's got power. She will never stop coming forward, and she's pretty relentless in her, her attack. She did come off that loss to Loma Lookboonmee, where really the takeaway was, holy crap, is this girl tough. Just Jesus Christ. Like, no matter what was happening to her, she just continued to try to get that win. And that is what's concerning here, because she's fighting Jinh Frey. Jinh Frey's a little older. She's well experienced, which comes with that, which is fantastic. She's technical. She's patient. For the most part, she likes to pressure with punches and then set up some like cage control style wrestling, some takedowns. She is a heavy grappler. She uses her size and strength and physicality really well. And this is a tricky fight because in my mind, neither one are very, very good. I think Jinh Frey is the better fighter overall, but Elise Reed is just like tenacious and will not stop coming forward. The problem is Jinh Frey is 38 years old, coming off a really bad knockout. She's slowing down, and the pace and the pressure of somebody like Elise could be a problem for her. But what keeps like sending me back to the Frey side is I think she can slow this fight down. I think
what's sending me back to the Frey side? I bet.
I don't think a fat joke is appropriate.
Oh, shit. You said you were slimming down since the cruise, baby. Just super dehydrated.
I said,
just dehydrated.
I didn't say I was slimming down. I said I didn't eat as much as I thought I would.
You said 17 pounds of water weight.
I said I would not eat because I wanted to get drunk. So I wouldn't eat, and then I would drink. So there's the upside to drink.
What's that number, chat?
What?
Alcohol's Anonymous alcohol.
Oh, so anyway.
Put that in the chat. I'll get that to you.
What's getting tricky for me here is I keep leading to the Elise Reed side because I keep saying Jinh Frey was just knocked out bad. She's older. Like things are definitely not 100% there. That was somewhat recent. But then it's like, yeah, but Elise isn't super. She's tough. She's tenacious. She hits really hard. But Frey can just drive her up against the cage, hold her against the cage, drag her down, hold her there, and just really slow this whole thing down to nothing. I do think that's what's going to happen. Very incredibly slight lean to Frey, not spending any money here. I think she can slow that pace down. I do enjoy that DraftKings gave her pretty heavy underdog pricing here, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Do you think me and Elise Reed look alike? I was kind of looking at her. I was like,
I think physically you're probably 5'3", 63-inch reach. I think physically you're probably identical twins.
I thought we weren't going to make physical appearance jokes, but, if you want to unleash that dog, I'm ready to bite. Listen, the reason I was saying
somebody's watching this for the first time and they're like,
God bless them. Hold on tight. Hold on tight. It's going to be this next 2 hours is going to be interesting. But if I feel like if I was a fighter, because I can't stand Elise Reed. I mean, it's very well known. I cannot stand the cockiness, the arrogance of Elise Reed, because the second she lands one shot, she's like in your face, hands low, talking to the commentary team. She landed a shot on a girl and was like talking to Dominic Cruz, like, oh, did you see that shot? It's like, shut the fuck up. And then she ends up losing those fights because once somebody turns up the pace and turns up the pressure, she folds underneath it. I'm like, I cannot stand somebody that acts like this, that thinks they're better than they are. And then I realized, that's probably exactly how I would be as a fighter. That's exactly how I would be. I would be overconfident, laying in one shot, talking shit. And the second you got in my face, I'd be like, oh my God, what are we doing? Stop. And that's kind of how she fights. And she struggles against girls that can get in her face and pressure. And at this point in her career, I just don't think that Jinh Frey is going to be that girl, especially coming off a knockout where she was kind of being that pressure fighter and got caught very, very early. And that was a bad, I mean, she was like just flatline, hit her head.
It was
follow-up shot. Yeah, follow-up shots.
And it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, and Polyana is not like a super, super powerful girl. I mean, she's known for like submissions. And Elise Reed does kind of hit like a truck. I can't stand her, but she does hit like a truck when she does land. And I just think that this is almost a tailor-made perfect fight for Elise Reed, somebody that's going to be in front of her, not a lot of head movement, and isn't going to pressure her, and she can kind of pick her apart from the distance and really, really hurt Frey, really hurt Jinh in this matchup, I think. So I haven't placed a bet on her yet, but I guarantee, live stream, something like that, we're gonna load up on Elise Reed for this one. I think that's a good matchup for her.
So what's concerning, so obviously we talk about the safety parlay. It's up almost 10 units. It's 9.3 or 5.3 or something like that in 2023 alone. It is a premium member parlay, and it's called the safety parlay for a reason. It hits at like a 73%, which is honestly kind of nuts. 6 fights in a row, 7 fights in a row. It has been absolutely hitting. This is the outside of the now Jamie Mullarkey money line. The over 2.5 on this fight is the biggest odds on this card. It's minus 300, minus 290, depending on your
like
book.
that?
No, I hate it.
Yeah, it's...
Everybody's like, oh, put that... Not everybody, but people are like, use that, because I had Garam in the safety parlay. He's out. People are like, use that to replace the Garam bet. And it's like, I don't like it. Like, yes, it should go to a decision, right? It should.
Elise Reed hits hard, man. She legit hits hard.
Exactly. And Jinh Frey was just knocked out cold. It is called a safety parlay, and I don't care what the odds say. It doesn't feel safe. It is going to go to a decision and whatever, and I should have done it, blah, blah, blah. But, man, Jinh Frey was just knocked out stupid cold. And Elise Reed has been finished and does have finishes. Like, I'm actually surprised this line is so juiced considering it's 2 women that have finishes and have been finished. So I'm actually not going to touch that over. And maybe I throw a couple bucks on the under at plus 2 something. What do you think about that under? What do you think about that analysis, Jake?
Somebody said Polyana Viana might be the finest UFC fighter, so I'm just kind of responding to that. That kind of grabbed my attention.
Well, what's funny is I agree, except her UFC picture, she's got like Mimi from Drew Carey makeup going on. Looks horrendous.
Yeah, she overdoes it because she is she's a super, super beautiful, pretty, amazing Brazilian woman and somebody that I could use in my life. I am on this Portuguese journey to learn Portuguese because I want to eventually live in Brazil, start a family in Brazil, my little Brazilian children, and I think Polyana would be great for that. Little. What was that?
You will definitely have little children for sure.
If I'm with first of all, if I'm with Polyana, the athlete that she is, probably a boy and a girl, boy in the NBA, no doubt about that, goes down as the greatest point guard to ever live, maybe the greatest basketball player to ever live, and the girl doing whatever she wants. I mean, a neurosurgeon, a fucking astronaut. She might be the first one on Mars. It'll work out great, Polyana.
So woke. Oh, woke Jacob. Jacob's so woke.
What was I supposed to say? She'd be a great housewife.
Decent
the joke I was going to make when you said I don't know why these lines are so juiced, I was going to say because it's 2 women fighting and then they're in the kitchen. That's why the line is juiced.
I have daughters, and that's incredibly disrespectful.
But I didn't say it, so I can't get. I didn't say it. That's the joke I was going to say, but I didn't say it at the time. So,
but I didn't know it was a joke. Okay, you don't know what that's from. We'll move on. Elise Reed, $8,600 in DraftKings. You trust her that much, Jakey boy?
86. I think I might. I mean, she's one of those sneaky plays where, I mean, if she's gonna win this fight, it probably is gonna be in my mind a finish, and it might be an early one.
I know the bet to place here. I know the bet.
Tell me.
Let me find it.
Hold on. Tell me.
If it's worth no, it's gonna go up for premium members.
No, tell me.
Hold on, I'm gonna look at the odds right now. If the odds are unreasonable, I'll tell you what it was.
Inside the distance, decision, no action.
Shut your
minus 155.
Oh, it's happening, baby. That's a good bet. I'm going to do it next time you're talking.
Nah, I'd rather just play the money. It's almost the same as the money. I mean,
no, because you get a refund if Jinh Frey. You get a refund if
Jinh Frey's not going to win this fight either way.
Nah, she could wet blanket her for sure. She's the better fighter with more experience. She 100% could. 100% could. She opened as the favorite. Vegas was like, this woman is going to win. It's not like...
Vegas also thought the Celtics were going to win Game 7. Jesus, they got fucking beat on. Holy shit.
Well, were they actually the favorites in that game?
Yeah, like minus 350 or something.
Jeez. Anyway, if you want to see the bet that I just told you I'm going to do anyway, become a premium member, and you can see it on the screen at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. It's only $10 a month. And it's not just bets, guys. There's tools. There's information. There's data. There's all sorts of stuff that if you wanted to go out and get it yourself, it would take you 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours to put together. We've done it. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member.
Please.
We need it.
Speaking of Brazilians.
Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Daniel Willie Cat Santos taking on Johnny Munoz Jr. Daniel Santos, 10-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off his first UFC win, and he's a big boy favorite over Johnny Munoz Jr. 12-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, and he is alternating wins and losses. This fight was booked, 3 events ago, something like that. It was canceled because of Daniel Santos. They said I didn't read this myself, somebody commented this, so it could be wrong, that he had a
abscess or something, right?
An abscess on his leg, yes. Now, I don't know if it was an abscess because he has an injury and there's fluid collecting that was building up, if the dude had a boil. I don't know what it was, but it was bad enough that they canceled the fight. So, to me, it's more than just like a little, skin tag. It's something real. Anyway, it has been rebooked. The line is much wider now, right? Daniel Santos was minus 170s-ish. He's ballooned up. Now that Garam is done.
You mean the opening odds? The original fight, I had a bet on Santos at minus 147 at one point.
And then what did they become before the fight was canceled?
A minus 160, minus 170. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Now this time,
the original. I thought you meant the original. No, he was. I mean, they had the books. I think he opened maybe originally raised it like minus 130 or something. Something crazy. Crazy.
And he was in my safety parlay last time he was booked. He is no longer, and I'll tell you why. Yes, Daniel Santos, a very dangerous guy. He's an old school shoot-a-box fighter. Just think Charles Oliveira, but a little smaller. Yeah, he fights exactly like him. Gets dropped in his fights, bounces right back like nothing happened. He's got solid jiu-jitsu. He's got very, very aggressive, solid striking as well. And on BJJ, he's good. He's good on top. He's good on bottom. He can make stuff happen. He can be taken down. But the problem is he is so good at BJJ, right? He is so dangerous off his back that he'll play that game. He'll lay on his back, throwing stuff up, trying to make stuff happen instead of trying to scramble back to his feet, right? He's trying to submit people off his back. That's just not something that happens. Him being taken down is what concerns me in this fight because he is taking on Johnny Munoz Jr. Johnny Munoz is also a BJJ black belt. His striking is decent. He has solid takedowns, and he throws everything with 100% intent at all times. He uses front kicks, side kicks well to manage range, and then he tries to keep his opponents at distance. His BJJ is very slick as well, and he has very high grappling fight IQ. Daniel Santos, I would say, has low grappling fight IQ. He'll hang out on his back, try to submit you. Johnny Munoz will try to advance his position, and if he's losing it, if he's about to get swept, he will completely bail on that exchange, stand up entirely, and then reset. So very high striking IQ. I type all my own notes. I do think Daniel Santos wins this fight. I'm pretty confident he wins this fight. Last time I was so confident that I had him in the safety parlay. But the fight was canceled, and that is a little bit concerning. I don't know exactly how bad it is or isn't. It could be literally nothing. It could have been a skin tag, and the doctor could have been like, nah, he can't fight with this. I don't know. But the fight was canceled. He walked away from all of that money, either on his own accord or they made him. And luckily it's been rebooked. But that's the one thing that concerns me. Daniel Santos should be able to get this done. He looked phenomenal against John Castaneda when he wasn't being dropped constantly. But he's got good pressure, very good striking. He's not going to get submitted, even though Johnny's probably the better overall grappler. So Daniel Santos should absolutely win this fight. But I'm a little less confident than I was because of the rebooking. Does the rebooking not bother you at all?
No, because I know Johnny Munoz Jr. better than most people. There's a lot of Lock of the Week connections on this card, and Johnny Munoz Jr. was a former Lock of the Week and will go down as top 2, maybe the most embarrassing Lock of the Week loss of all time. So I am slightly biased. I will, full transparency, tell you guys that I do have a little bit of biasy against Johnny Munoz Jr., and I absolutely love Willie Cat in this matchup because he does have that nice high Muay Thai style, and he gets in your face. He has nonstop pressure. Angelo mentioned he can't get dropped, but when he gets dropped, it is boom, bam, back to his feet and right back to the pressure. And if there's one thing that Johnny Munoz does not like, he is good on the ground. I don't think he's got the takedowns needed in this fight because Santos is a pretty good scrambler and has his own offensive wrestling as well. But when he is striking, Johnny Munoz Jr., he wants distance. He wants range. He wants kind of lungy in and out shots, and he's not super fast when he does it, but he does kind of throw a nice little 1-2 down the pipe, fully extended, and he does not like when people are crowding him, and that's exactly what Willie Cat's going to do. And the reason Johnny Munoz Jr. was one of the most embarrassing Lock of the Week losses of all time was he's got knocked out by a 1-inch punch from Tony Gravely. I mean, that thing was right here to here. I mean, boom, boom, completely knocks him out. He is not going to like the power that Willie Cat is gonna put on him from the very, very beginning. If Johnny Munoz Jr. has one way in my mind to win this fight, and that is get the very first takedown that he shoots and grind out for the rest of the round, because Willie Cat will fade in fights. So he's got to get that first takedown. If he doesn't, he's not going to like that pressure and the power that Willie Cat throws his way.
And that's the one thing that worries me, is that he will get a takedown and he will just ride on Daniel Santos. Because, again, I don't know what was up with his leg. But Daniel Santos should win this fight. I've come very close to putting him back into the safety parlay.
And he's also said, I mean, even before that Sexy Mexi, the John Castaneda fight, he said, I want to show off my wrestling in this fight. And I think he really did that against Sexy Mexi. So I think he's tried to clean some things up on your... Because I do agree, he was kind of that guard game guy, but now he has turned into... Like you saw Oliveira kind of transitioned. Now he's shooting offensive takedowns. Now he's, out scrambling position. So I think they're kind of that same gradual progress there.
And this is one of the fights I mentioned. $9,200 in DraftKings. I probably will spend that on Daniel Santos. It's my real life money that worries me a little bit. It's actually the name safety parlay worries me. I do have a couple of bets with Daniel Santos already. If you're a premium member, you can see those. WeOwnPicks.com. It's $10. Or why are we even talking about that still? Yeah, just click become a member. The safety parlay, there's a ton of pride that goes into that safety parlay, and I really, really am looking out for that. So I don't have him in that, but I do have other bets going on with Daniel Santos, and I do think the $9,200 is solid money, especially when we're going to get a massive minus 600 favorite on this card for dirt cheap. You agree with Danny in your DraftKings line?
Willie Cat, baby, all the way.
There we go. Jacob, would you call yourself a Miami meat rider?
I am Brazilian.
What is a Miami meat rider?
They're talking about the Heat game.
Oh,
saying that I'm like a fake Miami Heat fan because they won.
I'm
a Nuggets fan. I don't like the Miami Heat. If anything, I placed a bet before the playoffs started. I got the Nuggets at plus 1,000 to win it all. So that's gonna pay out, and then I don't have to do this shit anymore.
Earlier today, you're like, oh, thank God, I hate the off weeks. I love doing this shit. Now you're like, ugh, I hate this.
Back.
You went out, you got a whiteboard. How many hours did you spend looking at your screen, looking at the whiteboard to see if it was positioned right?
I actually had to move my camera slightly because it does show like the full reflection. I could stream the fights and just put the fights back here and like just blur like in a blurry square so people can kind of see what's going on.
YouTube's too clever for that because somebody was doing that with a mirror and it still got shut down pretty quick.
The best one I saw was originally on Twitch when somebody just held the controller and it looked like they had the full screen of the game and they just made it look like they were playing.
That is a good idea. Oh, people.
I am a Pacers fan. Till I die, motherfuckers.
We want picks.com. $10 a month. Just click become a member. Next up.
Speaking of the Pacers in Indiana.
Dontel Mays is in Indiana.
We have Indiana's own. Holy shit. Hold on a second. He covered up his Indiana tattoo. That's a cover up on his fucking stomach. That son of a bitch. Hold on a second.
He
literally had Indiana state flag right there. I think he covered it up. Oh my God.
I mean, who the hell's proud of Indiana?
Hold on. I think, unless that's his other side. Oh, no, okay. I think it's his other side. Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God. Yeah. Oof. That would have been bad. Jeffersonville, stand up. Fucking Indiana.
It's a great town.
I just couldn't imagine being from such a nothing state and being so proud of it.
Well, I'm a great person. I think I represent the state greatly, proudly.
I agree. I think the fact that you still have all of your teeth is a huge win for the state.
These are real too, motherfucker.
And they are nice teeth. Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Andrei Arlovski at 45. How the hell old is he now? 44?
I think he's 46, honestly.
Taking on Dontel Mays. Andrei Arlovski, favorite, minus 140, flip to a dog. Again, I said 4. I think it's 5 or 6 fights on this card have done that full-blown flip. And what's so funny is last week, when you had Temba Garimbo as your underdog lock of the week, people were like, oh, these next 2 weeks are tough. Temba's a tough. I don't know about him. And next week, all we have is, what do we have? Dontel Mays. We can't count on him. And he was still an underdog. And now there's people that see him at minus 110, minus 120. They're like, I'll put more money on this guy. So it's just so funny.
Indiana's own, baby. Indiana's never lost at anything. Think about the people. Larry Bird's never lost. Michael Jackson only took 1 L. That was a pretty big L, but, he did take that L. Darren Elkins.
Trials.
Darren Elkins. Never lost. Jim Gaffigan. Dave Letterman.
Okay, we're done here.
I could keep going.
Dontel Mays, full-blown favorite in this fight. And I get it. He's dangerous, good boxer, has all the things. But he's taking on veteran Andrei Arlovski, 34-21. He is 4-1 in his last 5. He's not on this wild downslope. Yes, he is coming off of a loss. Technically a submission loss to Marcos Rogerio de Lima, but he was popped, he was dropped, and then he was submitted. Dontel Mays is 9-5. Obviously, a very different numbers in his career versus Andrei Arlovski. He's only 2-2. Actually, 2-1 in his last 5. And he's coming off that decision loss to Augusto Sakai, who the UFC just cut, even though he was coming off a win. But Andrei, at this point, straight up legend. Some of you newer fight fans that are here, the Conor era, you don't realize that Andrei Arlovski is the former heavyweight champion of the world. And one of his eras, before heavyweights were like insanely well-rounded, Andrei Arlovski was the best heavyweight of that generation fighter. Absolutely incredible. And he's still very, very talented. Seems to have lost a lot of the power in his hands, but he's a very technical striker. He'll come forward, pretty busy guy, knows how to use his physicality well. He'll hold you against the cage. Not the most exciting guy like he used to be, but he is a calculated striker who knows what he's doing. He has become a bit of a decision machine these last few years. His chin had been holding up for quite a while, but he showed a couple cracks in that last fight, and just like the Jinh Frey breakdown, I just don't know what's left of it. He's taking on Dontel Mays. Dontel Mays, decent boxer, very, very heavy hands. He does have solid footwork, sets up combinations well. He comes forward, throws everything with power, even his leg kicks. We've seen him wrestle as well. He's got 7 takedowns in his UFC career so far. Man, this is a tough fight to break down, but I do agree with the fact that Andrei opened as a favorite. I think he should be the favorite here. He's old. He's fighting Don'Tale Mayes, who has insane power, but in every single category other than Andrei's old, Andrei Arlovski's the better fighter. Every single category. Every single one. He's going to be the better striker, the more experienced guy. He's actually probably going to be faster here as well. He's going to have just everything. He literally is going to be better everywhere. So the only reason anybody would say Don'Tale Mayes is going to win this fight is because you don't trust Andrei's chin. And I'm not going to argue with that. I don't know if I trust the chin either, but I do think Andrei Arlovski is going to win this fight. He's an absolute legend. I hope he wins. I hope he retires, and I think he's going to get it done. And if this line keeps moving,
what are you going to do?
I'll throw money on Andrei Arlovski if it keeps going. Love the guy. What do you think?
Yeah, bet with your heart. That's
44.
What can go wrong with that? The thing's about to go anyway. Did you know that Artem? Do you know what Artem was calling Don'Tale?
What?
Someone in Discord said he was calling him Dantale or Dantale or something, Dantale or something like that. Imagine that. How do you even say that in fucking Australia or New Zealand? Dantale. Oh, Artem, you sleeping bitch. Listen, this is one of those fights where if you want to bet, I mean, obviously I made fun of betting for your heart, but this is one of those fights where don't try to make money off this fight, right? Bet for have fun. If you want to have some fun while you watch it, bet for your heart, whatever it is, because who the fuck knows what's going to happen in this fight? You saw Don'Tale Mayes in his last fight almost looked like he was like uninterested. I mean, there was nothing about that fight where he was like, oh, this guy's in it. He wants to fight. He's trying to get out of positions. It was like he didn't even want to be there. Andrei Arlovski was almost kind of the same thing. He was taken down. The guy was threatening the choke. The second the arm went under, he didn't try to fight it or anything. He just immediately
he was dropped bad, though.
I know, but he was fighting down there for a little bit, and then the second that it was under, he didn't try. I mean, he didn't try to do anything. And it looked to me like it was like, what am I still doing here? Like, what? I mean, it was like get me the fuck out of this. So I think both these guys, it's like, I mean, if you're Don'Tale Mayes and you come in and you can't beat, I know it's Andrei Arlovski, but this is not the same guy. You can't come in here and beat this 44, 45-year-old with just keeping range, using your athleticism. I think he's going to have the speed advantage. Just boom, 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 boom. You don't have to load up. Eventually, you're going to beat him down and find that chin. I don't know what you're doing. If you're not coming in here and just kind of, honestly, should probably smoke Andrei Arlovski, I don't know what you're doing, but I can see Andrei just kind of making it dirty, getting in his face, getting those same clinch positions Sakai was in. And then all of a sudden, Andrei just won this decision. So, this is stay away from this if you're trying to make money. But my pick, I got to stick with my dude, man. Indiana zone. Don'Tale Mayes, baby. Naptown represent 317. You heard?
Would he still be your pick if that tattoo was covered up?
No. Hell no. Fuck that guy.
Well, there we go. I do think Andrei's going to get it done, though. Don'Tale's just big looping shot. It's a bit sloppy. And what's crazy is this is another fight. We have heavyweights, a 44-year-old heavyweight. We have heavyweight strikers and a 2.5 round line, and the over is minus money. This is expected to go to a decision, and you can't even bet it because it's a freaking heavyweight fight. It's crazy to bet an over 2.5 in a heavyweight fight. Crazy.
You said it's a freaking heavyweight. And I thought you were about to say it's a freak fight. It's a freak show fight. Or something. I was like, Jesus.
Well, and I mentioned this in the quick picks, but it's not as pertinent now because Jim Miller has a new opponent, but the UFC is not typically kind to its aging veterans, right? They're like, hey, let's make a name off some young stud.
Here's Conor McGregor, cowboy.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So Andrei Arlovski is actually the perfect guy to make a name. Like they should have given him Waldo Cortez and let Waldo dance around and be fun and light up Andrei Arlovski.
I can't stand that guy.
But you get what I'm saying? Like that's typically what they would do. But they actually gave Andrei Arlovski like, hey, you could win this fight.
We're not done with you yet, buddy. Yeah. We're gonna try and make you the champ again. Here's Don'Tale Mayes. Please fucking win this fight. We're gonna give you fucking God next.
Well, but then Jim Miller, who's similar age, they're like, here's Ludovic Klein. It's like, oh fuck. But anyway, he's got a new opponent. But
former lock Jacob of the week, the greatest lock of the week of all time, Ludovic Klein.
Jacob and I split on this fight, but we're both not. We're split.
$100?
We're right. I'll do $100 on this.
Yeah, well, I'll throw 100 on this one.
All right. Well, plus 120.
No. You really want to just do 100? Okay.
No, I'll do 100. All right, good. Well, then I don't need to watch the line and pay a bookie. We did it. I will spend the $7,700 in DraftKings. But I'm going to have to look a little closer because Andrei Arlovski doesn't really score that well because it's just jab, jab. lean on the cage. Jab, jab, lean on the cage. I don't think there's a finish, but if he does, he's a crafty veteran. And if he just holds Dontel against the cage the whole time, it's going to be a boring-ass fight, but that is control time.
I think he has the fight IQ. I think Sakai didn't realize how much Dontel really didn't kind of want to be there. I think if Andrei sees him tired, sees him lackadaisical, he'll chase a finish. I mean, he knows what he's doing in there.
Yeah, tried and true vet at this point. All right. Cool. DraftKings, you just spend the $8,500 on Dontel.
See you guys later.
You're going to spend
I almost got excited. I was like, oh, whoa. You know what's funny is like the whole Discord is calling this like the card, like the Andrei Arlovski versus Dontel Mays, like UFC Las Vegas 74, Arlovski versus Mays and stuff. So it's funny that we ended it like that. But seriously, well, thanks for watching, guys.
There's 300 people in here. We appreciate it, especially after an off week. WeOwnPicks.com, $10 a month. Become a member. You unlock. It's. I don't even have to say all the things. It's the best value in this space. Period. End of story.
Me to Brazil, $10 a month. Get me to Brazil. That's all. Let me stop doing this shit, guys. Become a premium member today.
If people like you, they're not going to want you to stop. So just say, "Let me do this from Brazil."
Oh, imagine! Oh my God!
They're canceling. God. They're canceling in droves.
Oh my God! Imagine me streaming in Brazil. Imagine how much fun this would be if I was actually a happy person, happy with my life, enjoyed my life. How much more entertaining I could even be. I mean, this is just such a facade, such a fake. I put the mask on every time I get in front of the camera. Imagine if I was actually happy in Brazil with my fucking hot ass Brazilian wife. Holy shit! Pode repetir, por favor.
I wish this was the end of a stream because that would have been a great place to just hit end.
Jesus, please become a premium member.
If you want to support the cause, WeOwnPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Just click become a member at the top. Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have a very recent fight. No DraftKings prices here. We have John Sexy Mexi Castaneda taking on Muin Gafurov. And this is an interesting fight because John Castaneda, pretty big favorite in his original matchup, right? A lot of people loving him to just steamroll,
sexy,
get it done.
Baby.
And then he gets this matchup, open as a big favorite. Odds makers are like, oh, he was a favorite. It's he's short notice opponent. He should still be a big favorite. And the betting community was like, nah, son. And that line tightened big time. And I wouldn't be surprised if Muin became the favorite in this matchup.
Pode repetir, por favor. You know what that means?
No.
Can you repeat?
Oh.
John
Castaneda, 19-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that KO loss to Daniel Santos, who we broke down earlier. Muin Gafurov, 18-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is making his official UFC debut on short notice after a Contender Series loss a few years ago. John Castaneda, former Division II wrestler, comes forward. He sets an incredible pace, just absolutely bombs away. He's got fast hands, and then he shoots takedowns when he has the openings. He does have a ton of power. He does not have a ton of power, but he makes up for it just with pressure, aggression, just constantly coming forward, never really stopping there. He does get taken down, though, right? He's got D2 wrestling credentials. He looks for takedowns, but he can be taken down.
And then he quit. I don't even think it was a full year.
Well, it's still D2 is
he still got there.
Something. It's not club.
But it's not like it was a full wrestling career. I mean, but he quit to do MMA. It's not like he quit to
to do nothing.
Dominoes.
But he, one of my loser buddies used to work at a pizza shop. Now he's just like dying to get famous on YouTube. Anyway, John Castaneda can get a little tired sometimes. That's what happened against Daniel Santos. He dropped Santos multiple times, and then he just gassed out chasing that finish. But I guess if you're going to gas, it might as well be that way. He's taking on short notice, less than a full week short notice, Muin Gafurov. Gafurov's an absolute savage. He is a wrestler, or Sambo, but he's a wrestler who's going to plant his feet, trade just punch for punch with anybody. He is incredibly exciting. He's incredibly high paced. He's got solid skills everywhere. He does have power in his hands, good wrestling, solid speed, solid cardio. but he does get sucked into brawls. He's just going to start swinging wild, and you'll swing wild, and then it just becomes a 50-50 fight, and he might be getting dropped, or he's going to drop his opponent. But either way, this dude is you're making a face like he hasn't been stopped a bunch of times in wild firefights.
He's never been finished. He's never been finished, and he's got 17 of his 18 wins.
He gets sucked into firefights.
He's never been finished, and 17 of his 18 wins are by finish.
Yeah, listen, he's a killer.
What did it say? What did it say when you just looked it up?
I'm pulling it up now. Hold on, please hold.
Oh my God, this is
okay. Hasn't been finished, but in the tape he gets dropped. I watched the tape.
Tell me he hasn't been finished. Tell me.
I didn't say, but
tell me. Pull the hip and shit.
To be fair to me, I said he's either getting dropped or dropping his opponent. I didn't say finished. He gets dropped. You watched the tape. You watched him get. No, I didn't. Run it back.
You said he's constantly getting finished. No. Finish came out of your mouth. No. I'll listen to it right now. Okay, I'll just fucking listen
after you said it. No. He gets dropped on the tape. Okay. Anyway. Short notice fight. Doesn't mean it's going to be an easy night for John Castaneda. This is a dumb, tough fight to pick. On one hand, you got to go John Castaneda because it is short notice. He is the guy. He's been training. He's got the forward pressure. He has the D2 wrestling. He can just
You're making a face like he hasn't been stopped a bunch of times. Is it your exact quote?
Well, things happen. But that was after you interrupted me. But you interrupted me.
I know my intro's like, I know my truth. That's not what I said.
Alternative facts. But you interrupted me and you threw the whole thing off because I said he gets dropped, which he does get dropped. Can we both concede?
It's not an auto stop teleprompter. You control that by hand.
It's not even a teleprompter.
So you got to stop it. You got to start. It's like me with the timer on Saturdays.
Anyway, Castaneda should win. He should be the favorite. He's got a short notice opponent. They honestly have very similar styles. Very similar styles. They're going to come forward with nonstop aggression, look for takedowns when they can get them. Those aren't similar styles. The difference is John Castaneda is very takedownable. For a dude that wrestled Division II, he gets taken down quite a bit. Let's take a look at the percentage. Only a 60% takedown defense. That's what's concerning me here, and I'm sort of contradicting myself because very, very slight lean for Castaneda because of the short notice, but I do have a plus money bet at plus 140.
Oh my God, I forgot that you did. I completely forgot that you did this. You pick one side and you bet the other side. What a fucking
Those odds are too juicy.
Oh my God.
Muin can come forward, break Castaneda, get it done. Why don't you go ahead and tell us why you think Muin's going to win and why my bet's a good bet?
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't just be your pick if that's your bet. That's the issue.
Because the short notice is the concern. It's a very 50. It's right there, razor thin fight. Go ahead. Tell me why my bet is correct.
Yeah, I will be referring to John Castaneda as Sexy Mexi for the rest of this breakdown because he is a former lock of the week, and he was a great lock of the week. He was a lock of the week. Unlike Johnny Munoz Jr., he came in and smoked Muhammadjon. And the reason I picked him to win that fight is because this is a tough dude, man. This dude, Sexy Mexi, is a tough dude, well-rounded, can offensive wrestle, can defensive wrestle, has good striking, and I knew that he could wear down Muhammadjon in that fight. That's exactly what happened. He avoided the big right hand and he wore him down. The issue is, in his last fight, he kind of got worn down. And he got worn down in a fight that he was having some good success in. Now, he got tired, kind of chasing a finish a little bit, but he was recovered in the second round, and that pressure of Willie Cat really kind of broke him down. And going into this fight, I was like, I believe that Muin can get the takedowns, but can he control and can he outwork Sexy Mexi? Because that's how he's going to have to win this fight, right? He's got power in his hands. If he knocks out, Sexy Mexi, I could see that happening too because he does throw with absolute heat. When he lands, it is powerful. And he also works the body too, which I like with kicks, with shots, because that's how Willie Cat was kind of breaking down Sexy Mexi in that fight. But my biggest concern was, can he outwork Sexy Mexi? If you watch that Contender Series fight, your answer would probably be no, because he lost that fight because he was getting a little bit gassy. He couldn't get the takedowns like he was getting early. But when I was watching him in the LFA fights, he looked like a different person. He looked like he took his time more. His shots were a little bit better. He was a little bit more conditioned later in the fights. He still brought that power into the later rounds. And then when I saw on his Instagram, this dude was training with Merab, getting Merab ready for the Petr Yan fight. So he's in Merab's camp. He was there. And I love the fact, this is short notice, right? But he had a post 12 weeks ago that says, I'm staying in shape. I'm staying ready. UFC, give me a short notice fight. I'm ready. I want it. So this dude has been training. He's been ready. He's still young, 27 years old. I think that this is going to be the best Muin we have seen to date. And unfortunately for Sexy Mexi, former Lock of the Week, I think he just kind of gets outworked. And when he's not outworking somebody, I think he's got a tough way to win this fight. I think Muin just kind of grinds him, gets the takedowns, maybe finds him a big shot on the feet, but I think he pulls out this fight.
So the short notice doesn't concern you at all, or it's a little bit of a concern?
Not at all.
Literally
because
nothing.
he's on Instagram. It's not like he was, pulled off the street. He's been wanting this shot for a while, and I think he's ready to prove. I mean, another good part about the Contender Series fight is he's fought in the Apex before, so it's a UFC debut, but he's been in this situation. He's fought in that cage in the arena, so I think he's gonna look pretty good in there.
I hope he gets it done. I got the plus 140. I think you got him at plus 145, right?
Yeah. He opened at somebody. I think somebody said he opened at like plus 200 or something, but immediately it was like boom, 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 boom.
I show plus 150 here, but there's.
But it was like those Twitter odds when people are just posting like random Twitter
yeah.
odds that aren't really on a book yet.
Well, so we're somewhat aligned here. We both think Muin can get it done. The short notice bothers me a little more than it does you, but we're both willing to risk our money yet. It's very solid. Would you bet him at plus 110 or even money?
I think he should be the favorite.
Okay.
Not crazy. I think he should be a minus 150 favorite. So I would bet him all the way to that in my mind.
Gotcha. Well, Jakey Boy and I are aligned on this fight. We both have bets on this fight. We don't have DraftKings pricing yet. It'll be interesting to see when the DraftKings pricing comes out what they do with this, because the opening odds and the closing odds are going to be very different, and DraftKings probably won't give us pricing on this for another day or two. So when the odds settle, then they'll put some pricing out. I'm hoping we get.
Do they already have the 8,200?
Every slot is basically already filled, so they're either going to repeat an existing slot or just make something up entirely. So it should be even. That's what it should be, but maybe we get lucky and we get Muin Gafurov at some underdog pricing, and if we do, then he'll definitely be in my lineup because he should be able to put in some work. Even if he loses the fight, he'll put up some numbers, and if he has a 7 in front of his price tag, that would be phenomenal. If you want to unlock our DraftKings optimizer, our DraftKings plays, the ownership projections, and all the tools that helped our community win $120,000, $130,000.
Mitch is a movie star.
In DraftKings alone, go to WeWantPicks.com, just click Become a Member. It's just 10 doll hairs a month.
But he's like a legit movie star.
Yeah, I get it.
He's my favorite person. It's funny because it's like I'm being sarcastic just because he's in movies that he's my favorite person. That's why it's funny, Angelo. That's the stuff that you weren't getting on the cruise. Angelo changed up on us. There's no doubt about that. That dude got...
Also,
because I was going to bring it up in the beginning, but we were talking about something else. But I mean, that cruise literally, and tell me this isn't true. Your ego was pumped to the max on that cruise because you were the funniest guy. You were the charismatic guy. You were doing the dad jokes and everyone's laughing at it. You weren't getting checked by me in the chat once a week. You had your freedom and you went loose with it because the text I were getting was like, holy dad jokes. What the fuck is this nonsense? Honestly, when I was reading some of the texts you were sending me, there was actual disappointment in my heart. Like, what is going on with this guy? There's no way he thinks this is funny.
90% of the time, I'm the funniest guy in the room. 99% of the time.
If I'm not there.
90% of the time. Even when you're there.
If we're sitting there, come on, be honest. If we're sitting there Saturday night with the people.
Last time we were sitting
many
there
people
Saturday night, you had your legs up on the couch and were half asleep.
And I was still fucking just cracking them up. Holy shit. There's no way. I don't know if they've ever laughed at anything you've said.
Well, we'll find out at the pool party on the 10th, which is next Saturday.
We'll be streaming.
Next up at UFC Vegas, it's for my birthday. I turned 40.
I told you, I'm going to have 600. By that point, it'll probably be 700 live viewers for your birthday. I'll make sure the chat tells you happy birthday, Angelo. Jesus.
Unlike you, I like hanging out with people in real life.
I like fame and fortune, baby. I like people watching me. There's no doubt about that. Onlyfans.com. Sorry.
Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Abubakar Nurmagomedov taking on Elizeu Zaleski. Abubakar Nurmagomedov 17-3 overall, 3-2, 3-1-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that decision win over Gadzi Omargazayev. Nailed it. Woo! He's taking on Elizeu Zaleski, 23-7 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. And Zaleski's a pretty good striker. He's got real power. He's very athletic. He can also be dangerous on the... What the fuck did he go? He can also be dangerous on the ground, and he has that sort of capoeira style. Not sort of. He does have a capoeira style. If you don't know what that is, that's Brazilian dance fighting. It's what Michel Pereira is doing when he's doing all his fun stuff. He's got real power, real athleticism, very real cardio, and he's a pretty dangerous guy, but he is coming back after a year and a half away, and he's taking on a Nurmagomedov. And like all the others, like that beard with no mustache would tell you, he's an aggressive wrestler. He's got one goal in mind. Come forward. Throw hands.
McDonald's. Can you order me McDonald's?
Are you pretending you have a girlfriend? Are you pretending you have a girlfriend?
Thank you. Love you.
Are you pretending you have a girlfriend?
Oh, shit. $100. Hold on. Did you see $100 donation from Make the Bookies Pay, baby?
Wait, did you just pretend you had a girl in there?
What?
What the fuck just happened?
What are you talking about? We have $100 donation. What are you talking about? I went and got a fucking Coke.
Screaming about McDonald's? What is going on?
Huh? What is going on?
We have a $100 donation from Make the Bookies Pay, the best out there, period. Thank you very much. Jacob is on his period. This is very fitting. We appreciate the $100. It's very, very, very generous of you. Jakey, any words for the people when you're not pretending you have a girlfriend?
No, I appreciate that. You know, we definitely put in...
One step closer to Brazil.
Yeah, we definitely put the work in, and that's gonna $100. I think that's a month of food in Brazil. I literally think it is. Someone that lives in Brazil told me, like, if you go out to like a nice restaurant or something, it's like $4 or $5.
There's just no way that's true. Anyway, thank you very much.
I don't know. That's straight from the horse's mouth.
For your very generous donation, Make the Bookies Pay. As I was saying, Abubakar Nurmagomedov is a wrestler. He's going to come forward, throw bombs, shoot. He's got solid pressure, good control, but he does have very questionable submission defense. His hands are actually solid, and while he's not going to be knocking anybody out or anything like that, he can hang long enough on his feet, and he'll trade long enough for people to be like, all right, I'm striking with this guy, and then he'll start to wrestle. He's not as good as his last name, so don't let the last name fool you and think that this guy's going to be just an incredible wrestler. He is not as good as his last name, but it's the same game plan that you can expect with that last name. And I like him in this matchup. I picked him. I bet him early. I got him at plus 120. That's been up there for premium members for 2 weeks now. Quarter of a unit on that. And I just think the very long layoff for Zaleski is going to be the issue. I think Abubakar will come forward, will bomb, and will just wrestle. And Zaleski tends to lose to people who take him down. He's even been taken down by non-wrestlers. Jinh Lang took him down. Others have taken him down, and I just think the layoff, the wrestling pressure, all of that's going to be an issue for him. The line is tightening. We'll see what happens if Abubakar becomes a full-blown favorite, but I did get him at plus 120, quarter of a unit. Premium members, you saw that 2 weeks ago. Lots of value there. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, when I broke down this fight and I saw, Zaleski's last fight against Saint Denis, I was like, holy shit, if he just copies and pastes that into this fight, he's going to absolutely dominate that fight. And then I got excited because of the layoff, because I thought, oh my God, a 2-year layoff against a Nurmagomedov.
Year and a half.
He's definitely, what did I say?
A year. Well, I'm not trying to be a dick.
I thought I said 2.
No.
I thought it was a 2-year layoff. 2001 is, I think, the last fight. Anyway, I saw the layoff. I saw the Nurmagomedov name, and I thought, I'm going to get this guy as the underdog, and he is for sure going to be the lock of the week because I think he has the tools to dominate this fight. He is such a good striker. And what I love the most in this fight Because I agree, Nurmagomedov, he wants the fight to the ground. I don't think he's overly dominant in his wrestling, not overly dominant in his control, in his takedown attempts. He doesn't have a lot of speed or power to him. And on his feet, he's got that Khabib jab, right? He throws that jab. He knows what he's doing on his feet. But like those Dagestanis, they are a little bit flat-footed. And I think he's one of the more flat-footed of them all. And Zaleski's got such a good front. I mean, the way he blasts the front leg and destroys the front leg of people. You saw he was doing to Saint Denis, beat the absolute shit out of Saint Denis. I mean, that fight was like almost got ugly. I think Paul Felder at one time was like, "Stop the fight! Stop the fight!" Like he is out on his feet. It was crazy the beating he put on Saint Denis. But he started with lighting up the lead leg, and that's going to stop the mobility even more. It's going to stop the takedowns, and I think he lights up the leg. He throws great combinations on the feet, good power. And against Saint Denis, who is a grappler, he was defending the takedowns. He did what he needed to defend those takedowns as well. So I think he's cleaned that up. I hope in the last year and a half, 2 years, whatever it's been, that he's stayed tight, because he's going to have to be tight early with his exchanges, or he's probably going to get taken down. And then, I think Nurmagomedov to win this fight needs 10 minutes of control. I mean, he's got to get 10 plus minutes of the control, and I just don't see that happening. So I'm going Zaleski all the way. I'm pretty confident in him in this fight.
Yeah, I get it. Listen, at even money, I don't think I'm betting Nurmagomedov. The analysis remains the same, obviously. The pick stays the same, but I don't think I'm betting him. But at that plus 120, I'm like, man, that's solid plus money for a guy that has been active, that will come forward, will just shoot, and I can trust him. Zaleski, year and a half out. That's a long time to be out. That's a long time to come back. Try to find your rhythm against a guy who's going to be diving at your legs.
Especially somebody that's so technical, too, and sharp as the Nurmagomedovs. I mean, that's what they're known for. It's just being so goddamn precise and technical with everything. I also am very biased. For some reason, I think he's very, very overrated. So there's a bias in my
He's not as good as the last name would tell you. Like, he's definitely not that level, Nurmagomedov. If there's a ranking system, he's closer to the bottom. But I do think I think that pressure combined with the year and a half layoff is going to be the difference here. $7,900. I will spend that in DraftKings, because if I think he wins, that means he's going to get some takedowns, have some control time, and should rack up some very real points. You're going to throw Zaleski in there? I mean, you think Zaleski wins by finish if you think he wins.
I think he lights his ass up. I think that's pretty good value, $8,300.
And how old is Zaleski again? 36. Yikes. Good for you.
That's a good age. I'll throw 100 on this too. I've always heard that people are the best looking and
their sexual prime. Yeah. I'll throw 100 on this.
I mean, if you want to lose another $100,
deal.
All right.
Done. 200. You haven't won one of these head up ones with me in a very long time.
So there hasn't been fights in a week and a half.
Oh, congrats. If you guys want to see all of our bets, all of our picks, the DraftKings Optimizer, DraftKings Rankings, the DraftKings Ownership Projections, the FanDuel Rankings, the FanDuel Ownership Projections, the cheat sheet, the leverage scores, the 38 columns of detailed data and metrics, the line movement tracker, our calculators, our raw notes, Artem's picks, my picks, and so much more. Just go to WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month for every single thing I listed and all the things I forgot to list. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become Member at the top. It's only $10 a month. And I'll tell you where you can get $50. Just go to
Oh my God. Here we go. Jesus Christ.
/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. WeOnPicks.com/bets. You're going to get there. You're going to see our different betting partners on that page. You need to be on that very specific page and click those very specific links. Once you do, you will be in our affiliate pool. You make a deposit, and then we send you $50 as a thank you.
Become a premium member. Make the commercial stop. Fuck.
Sorry.
I hate him more than you guys.
You're the one trying to get to Brazil.
Look at that chest. Jesus Christ. Don't you just want to rub your fingers through that thing? God damn. Why are his nipples so wide, too? Doesn't that right nipple look incredibly...
Yeah, there's something wrong with that.
It's like crawling. It's like a snail crawling up his pec.
It does look like that.
It's leaving. Yeah, it's tired of that bullshit.
It's
it's like a plant trying to reach sunlight through that hair. That poor nipple hasn't seen the sun in 20 years. That thing's trying to get some sunlight. Holy shit. He's like, oh my God, winter's over. Look at this. It's a bear.
I had escargot on that cruise because I'm a fancy boy.
Wow. Wow, that was
next up.
I mean, that's the shit I'm talking about, Angelo. Like, that's the trend. I'm doing all this work right here. Boom, boom, just joke after joke, and you're like, I had escargot. Speaking of snails, I had escargot on my cruise. You got to cut that shit out, man.
Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Jamie Mullarkey taking on Muhammadjon Naimov. Jamie Mullarkey 16-5, overall 4-1 in his last 5 years, coming off that decision win over Francisco Prado. He's taking on insanely short notice. This was just announced yesterday. Muhammadjon Naimov, who's only 8-2 in his career. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight win streak into his UFC debut. Before we started the stream, I said, you know what I should have done? I should have.
We just made fun of your dad jokes. Do you want to say it?
No, I should have spent the time to Photoshop you into the Jamie Mullarkey spots in all these photos.
I would have lost my shit. I'll be honest with you. If you just script this thing over and there was my face right there, I'd have lost my shit. I legit would have lost my shit. I wouldn't have been able to finish.
I didn't think of it until literally I had it up in front of me and I was checking the slides. I was like, fuck that shit. It's actually when I saw your easel that I was like, God, if I put Jacob's face on there, that would have been it.
I don't think we look alike.
I wouldn't have thought it, and then people say it, and it's like, yep. As soon as people say it, it's like, yep. Anyway, it's because you both don't have eyebrows, which is like a very bizarre.
I do have eyebrows.
Physical trait. Okay,
they're
blonde.
blonde.
In the kitchen. They're the drawer
and they're
somewhere?
not as bushy as his. I think his look not. I would rather have my situation than those. I mean, those things are aggressive.
No.
Holy shit! It looks like looks like both of Naimov's nipples went and landed on top of Jamie Mullarkey's eyes.
I've got the dad jokes.
Yeah, that was a callback. Yeah. That was a that was a pretty good one. I mean, just imagine those little nipples hanging over.
Jamie Mullarkey, originally supposed to fight Garam, big time underdog in that fight. Now a massive favorite in this fight, and that's some short notice juice on that line. Jamie Mullarkey is a pretty well-rounded guy. He's sort of a jack of all trades. He can do everything. Not great anywhere, but he's a busy technical striker. He can grapple as well. His career has sort of evolved. He started primarily as a grappler, but he's been a much more active striker sort of later in his career. And he does have a couple of knockouts in the last 2 years as well. So he found that power while developing his skills. He is coming off that decision win over Francisco Prado, where he did have really nice takedowns, solid striking. He was pretty patient in that fight as well. What are you doing?
None. Just hanging around.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite. That's my favorite.
None.
Just
hanging around.
What? Who? I think he goes, who, me? He goes, who, me? Just hanging around. Anyway, he's taking on Muhammadjon Naimov, who, very similar to Muin, fought in the Contender Series a few years ago. He's back at it, giving it another go. This is big opportunity on short notice.
I think they're both from Tajikistan.
There you go. And overall, Naimov is a well-rounded guy, right? He prefers to strike, but he can wrestle when he needs to. He bounces between featherweight and lightweight, so don't expect him to be sort of the bigger guy in this matchup here. Even though it is short notice, he's a fast guy. He's an athletic guy. He has old-school martial arts striking background. I think it's Taekwondo, karate, something like that. And he has that sort of style with him, that calculated approach to when he's throwing the kicks, when he's throwing the punches. He does like to close that distance and then clinch up and strike. He will actively defend takedowns early in a fight because he trusts his striking, and then start to slow down and completely flip that switch and just start diving for legs, looking for takedowns later as the fights go on. He is solid. His takedown defense is not as solid as his takedown offense, but it is there. And a lot of people instinctually jumped all over Jamie Mullarkey when he had a short notice opponent. The odds makers did as well, minus 590. I don't know, have those dropped everywhere yet?
I just checked Bet Online. I don't see them.
I saw him on FanDuel is where I got the minus 590. I think they were the first.
How are you on FanDuel, Angelo?
Best fight odds, we'll tell you dumb dick. And then, so a lot of people jumped all over that. But the reality is, this is a tougher fight than those odds, dude. Naimov is not a bum. And I think Jamie Mullarkey, I think he gets a little too much credit for his body.
Just say what you know. Say it. Say it like a man. I do it every week, Angelo.
Yeah, you do it. I'm not you. I'm not going to come here and say
it like
Jamie
you
Mullarkey
said it to me.
I said Jamie Mullarkey sucks. I don't think he like sucks, but I don't
like,
think
literally.
Jamie Mullarkey. I don't think.
I just think he's a terrible fighter.
He's not Jeff Molina, but he's also not Garam.
There we go. He's coming back. He's coming back.
I think Jamie Mullarkey's a little bit overrated because he's not great at striking. He's not great at wrestling. He uses those tools and he can outstrike people who are not very good strikers. He can outgrapple people who are not very good grapplers. But when he gets somebody like Naimov that could potentially do both things, he has some very real trouble. I do think Jamie Mullarkey's going to win. It is short notice, but I'm not touching these odds. Even if it was minus 400, I don't think I would have put him in the safety parlay because I just... Muhammadjon is decent. Not great, but he's decent. And the only reason I am sort of favoring Jamie here, obviously, is short notice, but also Jamie was preparing for a very good striker. So I'm sure his grappling is going to be on point for this fight. And, Muhammadjon can be taken down. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I'm going to say something a little bit crazy here, but I think it's absolutely true. This is a more dangerous fight for Jamie Mullarkey in terms of fighter. Not a harder fight, because I think Garam was a very, very formidable opponent. But I don't think Garam was going to be very dangerous anywhere to a guy like Jamie Mullarkey. Yeah, he might get in a pocket, he might get clipped, but Garam's not like an overly dominant striker, and obviously isn't like a dominant grappler with submissions and stuff like that. So when I'm looking at this guy, Naimov? How are you saying it?
Well, now I don't know how to say it because you said it wrong. Muhammadjon is easy to say.
My dude M, when I'm watching this guy M, and the way that he strikes, especially the way he throws kicks, he is a very dangerous striker because he will take chances. It is short notice. You haven't really been able to study the opponent, and the way that he strikes is different. It's not typical just boxing, kickboxing style. He does the karate. He does the taekwondo stuff. It's going to be a more dangerous fight for Jamie Mullarkey, but the path for victory for Jamie Mullarkey is just too obvious in my mind. He should have been able to, as Angelo mentioned, prepare for some wrestling against Garam, some defensive wrestling, offensive wrestling. The path for him in wrestling this guy, the undersized guy in M, in this fight, is just too obvious to me. If he wants to play around on the feet a little bit, have some fun, that's usually how Jamie plays fights. But I think short notice, he goes to the grappling early and just wins the fight, gets out of there. But I think he would have given Garam a hard time. He is a much more technical striker than I think you give him credit for, and has much more power than most people behind those strikes for this division. Really, really crazy power. Super tough guy. I think Jamie Mullarkey wins this, but he's going to want to wrestle to do it easier.
Yeah, he definitely is going to need to wrestle in this matchup. And I think he's preparing to do that. He was fighting Garam, and I'm sure he was preparing to wrestle because he wasn't going to outstrike Garam.
Yeah,
you know what annoys me about you and the rest of these fucking dorks? Everybody was like, now that the Garam fight is canceled, oh, Jamie was going to murder him. Shut the fuck up.
I was saying it 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you do that shit all the time, and you actually put your money where your mouth is. Everybody else saying it just wants to be like,
I just put before I could even put it in premium, I had a plus. I was playing Jamie plus 3.5, like a full unit on it too.
I thought he was going to get fucking smoked. No. Anyway,
do you want to own up to why you hate Jamie Mullarkey?
Why?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. You have some sort of weird connection because I do kind of resemble Jamie Mullarkey, so by default, you just fucking hate the guy.
Everybody that kind of looks like you a little bit.
You kind of look like Big M over there a little bit. If you grew the beard.
I'll take that all day. I'll take that all day.
Oh, it's a compliment. I've seen that's
thank you.
Same chest hair too.
Thank you so much.
Same
and
nipples.
I bronzed my left one was pierced, so that's a little
bigger
than the right.
You really wanted to break. You were looking forward. You were like, oh my god, they're talking about nipples. By the way, guys, my nipple was pierced. So.
Old G's, no. Anyway, no DraftKings pricing just yet. The pricing is going to be absolutely wild for Naimov, but Mullarkey is already at $6,700. I forgot to post that here. He's at $6,700. That is locked in, ready to go. You have to throw him in draft.
He's going to be in every single person's lineup.
You kind of have to. It's a free play. At $6,700, a minus 590 favorite. Did those odds change? Did you even look?
What'd you say? I wasn't listening.
Jesus Christ. Best fight odds.
Someone said somebody photoshopped Jacob's face on Jamie and put it in Discord. Don't do that.
He's still minus 590, so nothing changed with the odds. And that is available on FanDuel. If you like it, I wouldn't touch it. We on picks.
This should be
$10 a month.
What do you think these odds should be?
He should be minus 350.
I was going to say 300, but then I'm thinking about it. I mean, it could be minus 240 in my mind.
It's very short notice, and he was preparing for a much better opponent.
I mean, I love Jamie more than anyone, but if there's anyone that just loves to just say fuck it and throw some haymakers in the pocket, it's Jamie Mullarkey, man, and that's not good.
I'm
seriously, I think I was more confident in him versus Garam because I think he was going to be able to handle Garam's kickboxing style, and this dude's just fucking a little bit wild, man. This dude's wild with the striking.
He's very wild. Comes forward. Doesn't care, reckless abandon,
like the spinning stuff, the weird kicks. I mean, you get weird liver shots out of stuff like that.
Well, we'll see what happens. WeOwnPicks.com. Unlock all the picks, all the bets, and everything else.
I think Big M's lock of the week, man.
A month. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we had the previous. And not really. I was going to say biggest favor on the card, but she never really was, I guess.
I would just like to say real quick, I love that the UFC supports Brazilian women.
They're making them fist fight each other in a cage for money.
It's a good matchup between two strong, beautiful women.
Well, both of them beautiful. We got Karine Silva at 15-4 overall, 5-0 in her last 5 with all stoppage wins, taking on Ketlin Souza, 13-3 overall, also 5-0 in her last 5, and she is making her UFC debut. Karine Silva, powerful grappler, constantly working for a submission, both on top and on bottom. She has 15 wins with 15 stoppages. Absolutely dominant in all of her wins. She's going to plot forward, have a nice tight guard on her feet, throw a flurry, rush to the body, clinch, get you to the ground, and then just work for something there. Occasionally, she'll chase a submission, end up losing that sort of exchange because of it, but she's still coming out on top, and she's coming off that submission win over Poliana Botelho in her UFC debut. She's taking on UFC debut Ketlin Souza. And Ketlin's doing that after winning the Invicta title just a few months ago. She loves to pressure with real heavy strikes and work in her own occasional takedowns. Everything she does is heavy. She throws big kicks, big punches. She's going to crush with elbows. She's always looking to do damage. Very solid grappler as well. Ketlin is definitely a... What? You don't think she's a solid grappler?
Ketlin?
Yeah, dude. Anyway. Ketlin's definitely a prospect, and she could be sort of trouble in this division.
Oh, wow. Did you watch my quick pick video?
No, I filmed my video 2 weeks before you filmed yours, you lazy piece of shit.
Well, I don't watch any of your shit.
Great.
And I know you have to watch mine to make sure you're monitoring
my
activities.
You. Oh, yeah.
Like, what is this? What's this son of a bitch doing now?
I watch it in 2x to make sure no penis is showing.
You watch all my Saturday streams like this.
She was like Danny DeVito, just all fucking short and angry. Anyway, Ketlin Souza is a prospect, and she's going to be able to do things in this division, but this is a really tough UFC debut. Karine is dangerous everywhere. She should not have an issue getting this to the ground, but Souza is powerful, but I think she's too committed to the strikes, meaning she plants and just bombs.
Oh, good form there. I like that form.
Just from all the way out here, because that's where she's throwing them from. They're not here where they should be. They're bombing away.
Here. I mean, that's the difference here. I'm right here. You're mimicking like this. I think you even had an open hand at one point, just doing that right there.
Well, you slap.
I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm Philly Shell. I'm right here, Angelo. I'm here.
Congrats. Anyway, I think Ketlin's commitment to throwing bombs will be what gets her taken down, and then Karine should have an advantage. But the problem is, Karine Silva has never won a fight that wasn't a decision. Wasn't a finish. We don't know what she's going to look like late second, in the third. We don't know those things. Karine Silva should win this fight. But I did not throw her in the safety parlay because, man, I wouldn't be surprised if she comes out aggressive, starts to slow down a little bit, and then late second, third round starts to really look like shit, and Ketlin Souza just starts bombing away. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Let me first off by saying that I like both of these girls, and I like all Brazilian women. There's no question about that. In my quick pick video, the reason I interrupted you and I said that was because I think that Ketlin can be a girl in this division as well. I mean, she brings in some good pressure, some good striking, and she can do some things off her back. I disagree with that she's a good grappler. She can do some stuff off her back, and she kind of stays on her back way too much, and that's kind of why I see this fight going this way. But she reminds me, except for the offensive wrestling and the kind of bullying style, she reminds me of like a young Jessica Andrade, the way that she strikes. I mean, she comes forward, it's a little bit hands low style, it's a little bit big overhand rights, it's a little bit chasing, but she lands those shots and she puts people out when she lands. I mean, that is real power that she possesses, and I can't wait to see what she's going to do in the future. But she can get taken down, and when she's in her guard, she will stay in her guard. There was no attempts to get back to her feet, even at one point in her fights. I mean, she has a girl's head wrapped up on her guard, just trying to stall out so the ref will stand them back up. She's not working back to her feet like that. And against a girl like Karina, it is going to be a real issue because Silva wants to be on the ground. She wants to get finishes on the ground. And when she strikes, she stays very sound defensively. In, out, she's in, she's out, she's moving her head, she's got her hands up. I don't think that Sousa's going to be able to touch her. And when she gets too aggressive, she gets taken down, she gets dominated. But I like Ketlin for future fights for sure. She's got, I mean, that power is crazy.
I completely agree. Listen, if Karine had like 2 decision wins, I actually would be all over her. And I do have bets on her. If you're a premium member, you've seen those bets. Jump on them, take a look. But because all of her wins are by finish, Ketlin is tough. I just don't know if
Ketlin has 5-round experience.
Yeah. She's the Invicta champion right now, today. So that's the only thing that worries me for sure. But Karine should win this fight. I do have money on her. Check out all of my premium bets at WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Jakey boy, you going to spend the $9,300 in DraftKings? I think you kind of have to.
Yeah, I think she's definitely going to get some takedowns and look for a finish. I do worry a little bit that she's not going to be able to get it, but she's just so nasty on the ground. I mean, she doesn't just rely on submissions either. You know, she's nasty.
Yeah.
Well, she's nasty.
She's an absolute set. 15 stoppage wins is insane, man or woman, regardless of. That's
wow,
insane.
I'm not sure. I don't know why I had to say it like that. You could have just said it's impressive. There it is.
I wanted to make sure that people knew I was talking beyond just the women's division.
Stay away from my Brazilian women. Stay the fuck away from my Brazilian women.
Unlike
Angelo.
you, I actually do support women. Literally paying for these little bitches right now. My mom's in town putting in the bed. I whisper it because if Tiffany heard me call them bitches, it wouldn't go well. Next up, at UFC Vegas 74, we have Victor Altamirano taking on Tim Elliott. Victor Altamirano, 12-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is making a very quick turnaround than it is against Tim Elliott, who is 18-12 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming back after a year and a half away. And it's a weirdo timeline because Tim Elliott coming back after a very long layoff. Victor Altamirano just turning right back around after fighting just a month ago. And I think that quick turnaround is why this line looks the way it does. Because Victor kind of looked like shit in that last fight. And now they're just going to assume he's going to continue to look like shit. But the reality is he's fast. He's powerful on his feet. He could also be patient and calculated. He has an impressive 6-4 striking differential, and that really speaks to his pressure. His takedown defense has improved. It's not great, but it's at 53% now. But if he is taken down, he's very busy and just doesn't accept bottom. But I did mention he's coming off that win over Vinicius Salvador, but he looked bad. And my daughter's screaming in the background. Great job.
I was like, Dad, leave my TV on. I was like, what the hell is that?
Great job, Nunna, putting her to bed.
Jesus.
Taking on Tim Elliott.
That's why you don't hit kids.
Taking on Tim Elliott, 18-12 overall. And that's just the definition of grit and tough. He's going to come forward. He's going to look for a finish. If he doesn't get it, he might get finished. And he's constantly coming forward. He makes every fight dirty. He puts in...
Somebody's going to call the cops, man. Are we sure we know what's going on?
I'm sure it's my youngest who doesn't want to go to bed. It's 9 o'clock. They go to bed at 7 every night.
Shit.
They are in bed by 7 p.m. every single night, but grandma's in town, school's out for the summer, so...
Get your fucking house under control. Everyone shut the fuck up.
Oh, Jesus.
I would never, I would never let that pass in my house. None of that.
Yeah,
it's not how I was raised. That's not how I was raised.
I bet. And it turned out so well. Anyway, Tim Elliott just comes forward, puts on tons of pressure, lots of volume. He's going to stay in your face the entire time. Even if it's on the wrong side of exchanges, he will be there ready to go. His striking's not technical, but it is effective because of that forward pressure. His best asset is definitely his grappling. He moves really well on the ground. He has submissions from every single position. And even though he is so talented on the ground, he's always chasing and sometimes will lose a position because of it. I mentioned. He's a vampire. I mentioned.
No, you sounded Italian when you said it in my mind.
That's not actually, it's my mother who's here, so hearing her,
let's get her on camera. Let's bring her in here. Let's do a little Q&A. Let's do a little Q&A with Nana.
Nana.
Yeah, you're gonna get Nana. I don't know. That's the first thing I could think of.
I don't think she wants it. Anyway, I think Tim Elliott does win this fight. What? I think Tim Elliott does win this fight. Because if Victor Altamirano, I mentioned his takedown defense is improving, which it is improving, but it's still not good. And that's going to be the issue for him. I think Tim Elliott's going to come forward, pressure, get the takedowns, get it done. Tim has multiple takedowns. Lots of scrambles, good cardio, good pressure. I think Tim Elliott is definitely the play. I think he gets it done. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I was like, did I already do my breakdown? I thought you were just moving on to the next one. The simplest way I can make this breakdown is I believe that they are kind of mirror images of each other. They're both kind of wild dudes that like the pressure. They want to get takedowns. They want to get on top of people. They want to get the person's back. The issue for me is I think Tim Elliott does everything a little bit better than Victor and showed a great gas tank in his last fight. I mean, he was beating the shit out of Tagir, like just tossing him around and stuff, where Victor, as you mentioned, in his last fight against Vinicius, Team Ribas, we knew that Team Ribas was going to have Vinicius coming in well prepared. We love Amanda Ribas' father and the way that he coaches and game plans. And Amanda Ribas is just going to be so ready for Macy Barber here in a few weeks. UFC Jacksonville. We're all very, very excited for you guys. Good luck, Amanda. That's why Victor was struggling in that fight. I just completely lost.
What the hell is going
on? I thought that was a pretty good little promo there, and then I was like congratulating myself in my head, and I completely forgot what I was going to say. But Tim Elliott, I think, because he was slowing down in that fight, and I think Tim Elliott just kind of outworked this guy coming off a crazy situation, life situation, family situation. He's going to be fighting emotional in there, which could be dangerous against a guy like Victor, because Victor, I mean, he dropped a willy cat. I mean, he's got some power behind those hands. And I can't wait. If he wins and he gets on the mic, I know he was in my mentions because I put a tweet out that was like, I can't wait to see what Tim Elliott is going to say on the mic after this fight. And he's been replying to people saying, I'm going to get wild. I'm going to finish this guy. He said, I'm going to get like fucking wild or something in this fight. Or he said, I'm going to do some wild shit is what he said. It's like, holy shit. I thought you already kind of do wild shit all the time. It's like, he's going to do the Vanessa Demopoulos cartwheel in there, I think. But I got Tim Elliott all the way in this fight.
So we're both on the same side here. We both pretty confident in Tim. I think it's going to be the wrestling that does it, because Victor does sort of struggle with takedowns at times. So I think he will struggle with Tim's takedowns and that pressure and just his ability to keep coming forward no matter what's happening to him. But as you mentioned, a lot going on in that dude's life, and the emotions could be good or bad. You had the exact same breakdown for
JP Bays, but
JP
he was
Bays, and that didn't go that way.
Well, he wasn't fighting Victor Altamirano.
Victor Altamirano is better. My warning to people betting this fight:
he's tough as shit. By the way,
is better than his last fight.
He is better than his last fight, and he's tough as shit. I mean, he is typical Mexican tough.
Yeah, What's a typical Mexican to you, Jacob?
Someone that, well, first of all, the men work hard, tough as shit. The fighters, if you're a Mexican, tough. If you're a Mexican fighter, you're tough shit. And the females, the Latinas. I love my Latinas. You know what I mean? Me gusta Latinas. Yeah, I do love my Latinas. I love the attitude, the sass. If you're out there, please. I'm serious too, man. I love that shit.
This is what happens with a week off, man. Fuck. This is taking forever.
All right, we're not. Just keep it going. Keep the tape
Tim
going.
Elliott, $9,000. You spending that in DraftKings?
I think I kind of trust him. When he's saying I'm going to finish this guy, I kind of trust him. And you know what the TKO bets were for Tim Elliott this week? I took some. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be like a premium thing because I do respect the toughness of Victor, but sometimes I play stuff on the side. Where is this fucking line at? It's hard to read. Tim Elliott by TKO, KO by rounds is plus 2,800, plus 3,300, plus 4,000. And I don't know if he's going to sub the guy. I think he's going to have to probably TKO him if he's going to finish him.
Yeah, I agree.
He said he's going to finish him.
Well, he said till death do us part as well. That was cold. I shouldn't have said that. Cut that out in the part that we did that we tweet. Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Jim Miller with a new opponent. He's taking on Jared Gordon. Jim Miller 35-17 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that loss to Alexander Hernandez where he finally looked old. He hadn't really looked old in his fights, and he finally looked like he lost a step in that last fight. And he's taking on Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon, 19-6 overall, 2-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that headbutt no contest with Bobby Green, which makes this yet another very complicated fight to break down. This card is just loaded with... This is either going to be the most obvious card, like the parlay should be Daniel Santos, Carini, Jared Gordon. Like it's either going to be a super easy card like that. All those people are going to win. All the minus 170s, minus 200s. Yeah. Or... every one of those has an asterisk. Carini has never won outside of a finish. So what if she can't finish?
Willie Cat gets dropped 6 times a fight.
Constantly. Jared Gordon was just knocked unconscious like 3 weeks ago. I can't believe he's not suspended by the commission right now. Like that's shocking to me.
Unless it's only a 90-day or something.
No, it hasn't been 90 days.
Well, don't yell at me.
The only reason he's not suspended.
The kids start crying, you immediately just get agitated as shit.
Oh, it does like.
I saw a funny TikTok of a guy. They're just pulling a prank on this guy's chair, like it was in like a construction break room, and his chair when he sat down, his chair like went out, and everyone started laughing. And he picks the chair up and he just slams it across the wall, just pissed as shit. And all the TikToks were like, somebody's got to check his house because if he's doing that over that, Jesus Christ, he's beating the shit out of somebody.
Oh, kids will drive you up the wall. I missed the super chat. $1.99 from Sam Pierce. Bless you both. Thank you guys for everything. We appreciate you, Sam. But what I was saying is I think the reason Jared probably wasn't suspended is because the fight was ruled a no contest.
So what are you suspending him for?
It wasn't a loss, which is, Anyway, dude was knocked out. That makes me a little worried, but Jared Gordon's a good wrestler. He's got solid pressure, solid striking. His striking is mostly volume-based, where he likes to come forward. He's got flurries, and before looking for that takedown, he's just going to get real busy up top. He averages more than 2 takedowns per fight, but his takedown defense isn't as solid. He's coming off that no contest headbutt, as I mentioned. But he was winning those early exchanges. That's the takeaway from that fight, is he actually looked pretty good against Bobby Green, who's a very good striker. And I think that's why this line is, it has tightened quite a bit, but I think that's why he opened at the minus 190 favorite, even though he's the one popping in on short notice. He's taking on Jim Miller. Jim Miller's a legend. Jersey tough. He's all the things. He's got a whole bunch of different records in the UFC for longevity, for most this, most that, because he has been around so incredibly long. He's a very good grappler, and he has very clean boxing. His wrestling is not as good, though. Grappling is jiu-jitsu. Wrestling is the ability to stand up or take it down. He sort of struggles taking people down, and that's going to be the difference here. I don't think he's going to be able to take Jared down, And Jared should be the better striker, but we've seen Jim Miller. Jim Miller has a knockout in the last 12 months. Like, Jim Miller has found some power in his hands. Like, Jim Miller is a dangerous guy, even at, 39? So he has more fight years than life years on him at this point. But
ooh, nice rhyme.
He looked old in his last fight. He slowed down. He looked old in his last fight. I think he's going to look old here as well, but I'm not betting on Jared Gordon either because he was knocked out cold a few weeks ago, and I can't put money on that, even though he did look so sharp early against Bobby Green. Tricky card for sure. What do you think, Jakey boy?
It is a little bit of a tricky fight for those reasons. I mean, you've laid the fight out absolutely perfect. I mean, and congratulations to that. I guess a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, even though you probably haven't found a nut in quite some time. But
shower drain. Continue.
That's that shit we're talking about. Although that was pretty good. But yeah, in that Bobby Green fight, because I was locked and loaded on Bobby Green. I came into that fight touting Bobby Green, saying Jared Gordon had nothing for Bobby Green. I was loaded on bets for Bobby Green inside the distance. He's gonna knock this dude out. And about 2 minutes into that fight, in my head, I'm thinking, this is not good because Jared Gordon is counter-striking Bobby Green, who is so hard to hit. He's got that Philly shell, and it's really hard to hit this guy. And Jared Gordon was landing on his chin at times. I mean, with extended combinations and getting to the target better than I've seen almost anyone get to the target on Bobby Green. And against a guy like Jim Miller, who is much more flat-footed than Bobby Green will be, he's much more hittable in this fight. I think he can have the exact same success. I think Jim Miller is going to be very hittable for a guy like Jared Gordon. You mentioned he does look like he's starting to slow down. He's still got the power, which is the big pause for concern in this fight. But I believe Jared Gordon can kind of avoid those power shots like he did against Patty, kind of in, out, point fight. And if he at point fights Jim Miller, I think he can easily win this fight in the striking. But as everyone always talks about, power is the last thing to go. Jim Miller still possesses that power. If he lands on Jared Gordon, he can knock him out. But I think Jared Gordon is much better striker in this fight, and I'm pretty confident in him. As long as he just please don't get knocked out.
Well, that's the thing, and if this is a few years ago, I wouldn't think it was possible. But Jim Miller knocked out Nicholas Mata, knocked him out cold. So that power is there. So we're both on the Jared Gordon side. It's funny because as we were talking, I put a unit on a bet that we mentioned earlier. So I actually have a decent amount of money going on this card, but I still trust nobody and nothing. So I don't know what's going on here. But
it's like we crossed peace dreams. Must have been last night.
Why would it have been last night?
All right.
Well, when you're ready. When you come over,
if you're not ready,
when you come over for the pool party next week, we'll recross the peace streams.
You promise?
Next Saturday, I promise. We're both on the same side. $9,100 in DraftKings, though. Oof, that's a bit steep.
It is. I agree.
That's a bit steep.
I agree.
The dude was legit.
Oh, Bet Online. Sorry, Bet Online just dropped Jamie Mullarkey line -400.
Oh, wow. That tightened fast. He opened at -590. Wow.
I think it should be.
All right. Maybe I do throw him in the safety parlay. After all that shit I talked about. Anyway, WeWantPicks.com. Check out all the bets. I just dropped a 1-unit bet, not on this fight, on a different fight that I will throw in there. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Just click Become a Member at the top. It instantly unlocks everything you could ever want, including private channels in the Discord so you can get alerts to your phone. Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Bruce Leroy Caceres taking on Daniel Pineda. Alex Caceres 20-13 overall, 4-1 in his last 5 years, coming off the knockout win over Julian Erosa. Taking on Daniel Pineda 28-14 overall, 2-1-2 in his last 5, coming off the submission win over Tucker Lutz. And this is an interesting matchup because Bruce Leroy at this point, tried and true vet, pretty young guy, but tons of experience, pretty good everywhere, striking solid. He's very durable. His wrestling and grappling are better than you would expect them to be. And he has a wealth of experience against pretty high-level opponents. He doesn't really have that raw power, although he did just get a knockout in his last fight over Julian Erosa, where he was a pretty big underdog. He's taking on Daniel Pineda. Daniel Pineda is a feast or famine guy. 100% finish rate on both sides of that coin. Very good wrestler. Solid grappling. Comes out very fast. Incredibly dangerous for about 3 minutes. He quickly fades, and then he can be finished shortly after. But that initial burst, he's powerful. He's dangerous. He can really make something happen. So Daniel Pineda, very, very dangerous guy in a matchup like this. But I got to go with Bruce Leroy here. The line is moving. He's becoming a bigger favorite, but most of that movement happened after Garam dropped because people were just looking for places to put their money. But it does worry me because Daniel Pineda is I keep saying the word dangerous, but he is. He can win the fight almost anywhere at any time, but it is only for a short period. And I think Caceres can weather that early storm, get past that, and then start to put some work in, get things going, and start to get it done. But it's a weird fight because we have Alex, who beat down a broken down Julian Erosa, right? Like that's his last, that's the fight he's coming off of that. He beat Kevin Kroom, who was never very good. And now he's taking on Elliott. He's taking on a very, very dangerous Daniel Pineda here. So I do worry there's some recency bias here with Alex Caceres, but I think he's going to get it done. I'm nervous about this one as well. Maybe I'm just a pussy. The crew softened me up.
You said it, not me. That was good. No, the last thing you said about Alex Caceres, I think nails it right on the head. Is the recency bias of Alex Caceres? Like, oh my God, he's coming off this knockout of Julian Erosa. We now know Julian Erosa's got a little bit chinny, and that was his first actually kind of real knockout since 2010. So let's pump the brakes on Alex Caceres coming in and just knocking people out. What he wants to do is kind of dance around karate style, lunging with shots, but he wants to be on your back. He doesn't even necessarily want to kind of wrestle. He would just like to just kind of climb your back and be on your back and threaten submissions. And against a guy like Daniel Pineda, and the way that he looked in his last fight, I mean, he looked very sharp after the layoff in that fight. It looked like his cardio was better, landing great combinations, finding the chin of Tucker Lutz. Now, Tucker is a much different fighter than Alex Caceres. He's going to be a flat foot. He wants to grapple, so he's a little bit flat foot. He's going to be much easier to hit, but he was still landing good combinations and looking very sharp and precise against a guy like Tucker. And I think the biggest thing was the way that he was lighting up the front leg of Tucker in that fight. And if he brings in that same leg kick and starts lighting up the front leg of Alex, the side to side, the in and out movements will stop. The takedowns, which I don't think are great anyway, will be even worse. And I think Daniel Pineda can find a way to find the shot on Alex Caceres, and maybe he starts taking a desperate shot when he's hurt because Pineda has crazy power. 28 wins, 28 finishes, has never won a decision fight. I think he finds a way to put some power on Alex. Alex is going to need to get respect early in my mind, and I just don't see a way for him to really get that respect, and I think Pineda is kind of all over him with the power.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I'm glad you're not super high on the Caceres side, because a lot of people are. Like I said, the line is widening, but a lot of that has to do with the Garam fight. Garam dropping. Garam was like most people's most confident pick. And there was money there. Once that fight dropped, people were just desperate. Well, now where do I put this money? So all of the favorites just became bigger favorites is what happened. That money just trickled down to other favorites. So I think it's sort of artificially moving because without the Grom fight dropping, I don't think this line moves the way it did. I think Alex wins. You're on the Pineda side. I think Alex just weathers that storm, and Pineda fades fast, which is his biggest issue.
He looked fine last fight.
I mean, you're right. Well, and like I said, the recency bias on Alex. Okay, he beat Julian Erosa, who has been knocked out since then, again, and Kevin Kroom. And Kevin Kroom's just never been good. So it's those are his.
He's only finishing marriages.
So anyway,
that was a much cleaner joke than what you said.
Mine was very mean. And your fat ass dog. I can't believe we've been doing this 2 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Are you going to spend the $7,300 in DraftKings? I imagine it's a great underdog price.
I think it's pretty good value because maybe he gets tired and then, Bruce Leroy's able to climb his back and find a finish or something. But I think the first round and a half is going to be all Pineda, and he's a finisher, man. He's a finisher.
He's 100% a fit. He gets finished though too. He's finished a ton.
Right.
He's been to a decision 5 times, I think. Out of how many? 28 plus 10 is 38, and 14 is 42 fights.
42 fights.
I did it. 42 fights.
I did it first.
You were right there. So it's man, tricky ass fucking card. First one back, tricky. So WeOwnPicks.com, $10 a month, unlock all the picks, all the bets, and everything else you could ever imagine, including the line movement tracker, which I am updating as we're speaking. Jamie Mullarkey minus 400, which means his line movement went from minus 590 to minus 400. He is at a 79.67% probability. So that's the odds for him to win, almost 80%. And that line movement is plus 6.4%.
Oh, he's minus 280 now.
Okay. I'm not just going to sit here updating this sheet like an idiot.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, no shit.
Just pranked you.
You got. That's from?
Here we go. This is the tough we're trying to... Go ahead.
You got's from Entourage. Grow up, pussy.
Entourage. Michael Scott does that.
Oh, yeah.
Entourage.
Okay. Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have the main event of the evening. We have Kai Kara-France taking on Amir Albazi. Kai Kara-France 24-10 overall. 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off of his second loss to Brandon Moreno. He's taking on Amir Albazi, 16-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, coming off the KO win over absolute savage beast Alessandro Costa. I said it like that because people were like, oh, look what Amir did in his last fight against the fucking short notice UFC bum. Yeah, look what he did. Anyway, Kai Kara-France, very good boxer. Good kickboxer, tons of power, lots of volume, very technically sound. He works really well inside and outside of the pocket. Has very solid takedown defense at 86%. But he is coming off that TKO loss to Brandon Moreno for the title last year. But he actually looked good leading up to that. He looked good in the fight and then sort of got broken down there. He's fighting Amir Albazi. Amir Albazi is a very legitimate prospect. He's got solid grappling. His striking is very good as well. He sets a nice pace. Very comfortable striking. He's light on his toes. He's bouncing in and out. He's got a long jab. And the fact that he's light on his toes really helps him shoot well. He's bouncing, bang, just in on those legs incredibly fast. And he'll just snatch up a leg as well. He doesn't even have to fully shoot. He'll just grab it and pick it up. On the ground, slick grappler. He's not just a wrestler looking for control. He's going to take risks, roll for positions, try to snatch things up. And I mentioned he's on that win, coming off that win over Alessandro Costa, where he had 2 knockdowns, a takedown and the finish, but that was a UFC debut on short notice, I believe. So this is a very tricky fight because on one hand, we have Kai Kara-France. Sort of a proven entity, right? He's been in the UFC for a little while. He's got that nice win over Askar Askarov.
Who's not in the UFC.
But at the same time, I think Kai Kara-France is overrated. I thought he's been overrated for a very long time. He's taking on Amir Albazi. Seems to be a killer. Seems to be a wild prospect. But he hasn't beat anybody. He's beat literally nobody. He hasn't beat anybody of any substance whatsoever. So we just don't know how good he is or is not. So we have an overrated guy who has at least established himself as, I can win at this level. I've been at this level for a while, earned his way into a title shot, versus an unproven guy who has a ton of talent, but we just have no idea what's going to happen if things get a little tough for him. Amir's probably going to need the takedowns, in my opinion. Kai Kara-France has very good takedown defense. So incredibly, ridiculously slight lean to the Kai Kara-France side because of the takedown defense, because of the UFC level experience. But this fight is just, this is a tough fight. I think you're a little more confident than I am, right?
Yeah, I'm actually a Kai Kara-France fan. I like the way he fights. People enjoy the way he fights. Don't blink. You know, he gets in those firefights. He puts himself out there. And a lot of people leading up to this fight, I saw because we had the week off, so everyone's like, the lock of the week, by the way, 6 in a row, going for 7. I saw a lot of tweets, a lot of messages on Discord. Join the Discord, absolutely free, in the link below. I saw a lot of stuff about Kai Kara-France's lock. You see in the chat right now, the first thing you saw is France's lock. France's lock. He's a lock because he was the underdog at the time, then moved to the favorite. And I was like, oh my God, maybe. So I was seeing all that stuff, and then I'm watching this fight. So I'm already kind of biased towards Kai Kara-France. I like him. People were saying he's a lock, and now I'm looking at this fight, and I'm like, Okay, here's the issue I have with this fight. I believe that Kai Kara-France can defend the takedowns, can defend enough takedowns, right? And most people, I assume, make that transition of he can defend the takedowns, therefore he wins the fight. I don't think it's that easy because I believe Kai Kara-France is the better striker. I think he's a slightly better striker, and I mentioned this in my quick pick video. In my mind, and this is not like an actual tape breakdown, this is just how I feel and the way that I feel when I watch Kai Kara-France fight, that I believe in his mind, he is the much better striker in this matchup. If you asked him right now, he would say, oh, I'm 10 times the striker that Albazi is in this fight. And I think that's going to get him in trouble. I really think that he's going to run into trouble because you saw in the third round against Moreno, was his best round. He was looking so sharp. Kai Kara-France gets hit, and he especially gets hit when he gets overconfident in his striking, when he's having too much success. He was chasing a little bit too much in Moreno and got caught with that body shot. That's what happens. Against Brandon Royval, gets a little bit too, he gets caught. It's like, I just feel like he's going to have too much success early, get over aggressive. Albazi's got a great jab. He's going to start touching him, and then he's going to lay on some power enough to where Kai Kara-France is either going to panic or something weird's going to happen where it's going to go to the ground, and then he's in big trouble if he's already hurt before he goes to the ground. And I really believe, I know that's not like a technical breakdown, oh, this guy's going to do this, but it just feels like the way that Kai Kara-France fights, he's a confident guy as he is. He's going to come in, have some success, get a little bit too aggressive again, and Albazi's going to be there because, as you mentioned, Albazi, I know he doesn't have a great resume, but he just seems like one of those guys that's just kind of one of those dudes, man. When you watch him fight, it's like, Jesus, man. He's a better striker than people think.
No, I agree with everything. He hasn't shown us yet, and maybe this is the fight that he does show us. So I'm just going slight lean with the proven entity that has incredible, that graphic was wrong. He has 86% takedown defense. So the proven entity with the very good takedown defense, who we know is a phenomenal striker, I gotta lean that side. But the line, people don't know what they're doing with the line either, right? Like it has gone. Kai Kara-France has
dog, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Because Kai Kara-France has been the favorite and the underdog. They both have been. So it's sort of all over the place. I don't have a bet here, but I will have one of them in DraftKings because we got even money on what could potentially be a 5-round fight. Both of them could win by finish. This is a pick your side and put that person in your DraftKings lineup kind of spot because somebody's going to score really well. Either a 5-round firefight or a stoppage. Either way, the winner is going to do well in DraftKings.
And this guy's lost 10 times. And I know some of them were early on in the career and they're against good, the other ones are against good people and stuff, but I mean, it's not like this guy's he's not 24-1. People are acting. I mean, the way people are talking about Kai Kara-France, it's like he's just going to, and maybe he does. I mean, maybe I hope he. I'm a big fan of Kai Kara-France, so maybe he does. But Jesus, man, be careful.
Listen, I said earlier, I think he's a little overrated, so I'm with you. I still think he gets this done, but a lot of that has to do with because Amir Albazi has beat no one, and obviously you can't beat someone
You have to beat.
You got to beat a bunch of nobodies before you can fight as somebody, and he has his opportunity now.
He's done what he needed to do against everyone he's fought. So
no, I completely agree. I just don't understand.
Can't help him fight.
I don't understand how people could be so insanely confident on either side of this fight. You can't be. Tricky fight. Anyway, weonpicks.com. Unlock all the things for only $10 a month, and we've had incredible community success. I'm going to keep bragging about
Hollywood
this.
Mitch, baby.
It would be insane to not brag about this. It would be insane that these are only premium members. Anytime I talk about somebody in our community winning big, it is only premium members. We had Jack Spade with the $78,000.
And this is only stuff that we don't track this stuff. This is just what people, there's probably a lot more than just this.
This is only what people went out of their way to tweet us and tell us, and in the last 3 weeks. This isn't forever. This is 3 weeks. It's crazy. I mean, the Aljamain Sterling pay-per-view was the first one, and then the last card, and that's it. That's what we're working with here. Over $150,000 in winnings, and it's actually up to $175 because while I was on vacation, I didn't go through and tally the rest, but the community is sharp as hell. The premium members are incredibly sharp. They're using the tools. They have their own insight. They have their own information. And if you want to become a premium member, talk to the community. If you go to the Discord, there's obviously a free Discord with general chat, but there's a room called WWP Lounge that is only for premium members. Pick each other's brains, share information there. And if we're not building this community, if we're not learning from each other, making money together, then what the hell
are we doing?
Absolute joke. And those members probably use some of the tools like the line movement tracker. You can unlock this for only $10 a month. This week, with all these drops, all these short notice fights, the line movement is more important than ever. Keep an eye on where things are going, what's happening, and then find your spots. Right after weigh-ins, right before weigh-ins, with all the crazy movement, you might be able to find some really, really nice spots and use this, as well as the detailed data, metrics, analytics. You're going to get fight history. You're going to get takedown lines, striking lines, all of the metrics, the data, and you can just work your way across in a straight line and then go ahead. Oh, wow, look at that. That's sticking out. Find the prop bets that make sense and then go from there. All of this is included with premium membership, including other analysts. It's not just me and Jakey Boy. We got Artem over here grinding. Breaking down LFA, Cage Warriors, breaking down Bellator.
He does it all, man.
Dude, he just broke down, and I think his picks were nuts for that Asian Road to the UFC thing that he just broke down. So he's absolutely been killing it. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. If you're here for Artem, use promo code Artem. So that little
he had like 70, 80 live Kiwi viewers too while he was doing one of those fight campaigns. He's got to knock that shit off, huh?
Good for him.
Fuck that guy, huh?
And if you want $50, I will send you $50. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use the links to sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. Jakey Boy, any last words before we go?
Nope. I mean, this is a weird card. I don't think people realize that this is as weird card as it could turn into. So there could be some people that get tore up on Saturday. But I will be live for it. Lock of the week video tomorrow, ready to go. I feel good about the lock of the week this week for 7 in a row. And Angelo, any parting words for the people before we go? I'll let you say a word. I'll give you permission.
I appreciate it. Sunday's my birthday, guys. Wish me a happy birthday. I'm very vain, and I like the attention.
And what's the number on that?
40, baby. Give a fuck.
You're gonna be in tears. You're gonna be in tears by the end of the night. I don't care. With your wine, curled up on the couch with your wine,
counting, doing like
Angelo, you crying? No, it's heartburn. It's heartburn.
Doing like Tiffany always sends me these stupid Instagram things like you only have 18 summers, you only have one college goodbye, like all that crap. So I just start doing that. I only have. All right, go back. I gotta go.
4 years left.
My heart.